Heyo.
Heyo. We're here.
Fuck.
All the movies.
Oh,
Sorry.
all of them. All of them. You
All
can,
three.
You can say that because there are three of them this
That's
week.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That
You did
is
a good
my-
job fitting it on there.
That is my opinion.
That is your opinion? All right.
That is my
Well,
opinion.
John, you can go. Me and Reese will we'll
What are we
finish
gonna-
this
do, we
up.
have, do we have any intro stuff? Are we gonna
Do we have any intro stuff? Yeah. To my right, we have owner and proprietor of Take Action.
It's me.
He's too old to be cool, Mr. John Brown.
I'm very old.
And to my left, we
Not
have
really.
everyone's favorite Criterion collector and what else do you? Window repairman.
I'm your favorite Criterion collector.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
honored.
I said, no, it's everyone's favorite.
Everyone's.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
we took a poll.
You're
yeah.
the guy,
So,
man.
Mr.
Wow.
Reese
You're
Anweiler.
the guy.
Hello.
And, I am the always humble bringer of light, Dustin Holler.
Like, that's good. All right.
So anyway, you guys watch any
Some stuff.
movies?
We're hoping to keep this at kind of a brisk pace,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Focus on a
We're
couple
moving.
movies.
We're already moving.
Yeah.
Those
We're
intros were
trekking,
so
man.
fast.
I watched a pretty recommendable sci-fi movie, Upgraded, the other day. That was pretty good.
Mhm.
Interesting premise, genuinely unexpected twist, very well produced. A lot of fun for what it was. Definitely some good, kind of a good cautionary tale for technology, definitely. Otherwise, I've watched the new Creep Show stuff, the new season of Creep Show on Shudder. Super fun.
I'm
Always
excited
fun.
to delve into that.
It's so fun,
I
dude.
love that old shit.
Dude, it's the Shudder.
Actually,
Since
we're
Shudder
not
picked
Creep
it
Show,
picked
sorry,
it up,
flame shirt.
it's been fun. Nothing but fun. It's super cool. Really interesting ideas. That's mostly what I think I'd want to highlight. I don't think I've watched anything super notable other than that.
Yeah.
So
I've been trying to. I always try to do a nice even mix of new horror movies for October and like classics that I've seen before. I've been having a hard time staying away from rewatching classics though, because there's so many I've only seen once, and it's been like 5 years. And I rewatched the Ring, the American Ring. I
never seen
think
that
that movie's
in ages.
great. It's probably I might be. I might have to look into it sometime, but it might be the best American remake of a Japanese movie like ever, because there's not a lot of good ones.
Yeah, and I watched
Not at all.
the Japanese. I haven't seen the American one in a while, but I watched the Japanese one semi recently, and it's like I expected it to be better just because you do, you know, and well, I do think that there were aspects that were better. I do think that there are things that the American version did do better, specifically the actual like videotape itself.
Right.
Like I thought that was like a little spookier, you know, or
a little more
whereas, like the
haunting,
original,
yeah.
just kind of like
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you know.
That's awesome. I rewatched the 2013 Evil Dead for the first time since it came out. I think that movie's like perfect.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's fucking
pretty damn
perfect.
perfect. We can all agree on that.
It's fucking perfect.
I knew it was
one of the
good.
best horror films
Yeah,
ever made.
it is one of the best horror movies ever made.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't know. It feels like that like needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, I mean, it happened, and a lot of people just like don't pay it much attention.
Yeah,
you
because it's
know?
like a remake slash
Well, in
sequel.
the age of
you know?
reboots and stuff.
Yeah.
like everybody, it came out in the time that reboots have been happening for so long already that people were kind of exhausted by reboots. But like, so one thing I say about reboots is some reboots need to happen, some reboots just are completely superfluous.
Yeah.
Like that reboot actually like was deserved because like Evil Dead, while you know I love the first Evil Dead, I mean through and through, I fucking love that film, every part of it. But like, they didn't have anything to work with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And so like they couldn't really make a horror movie, and so it was just super true to form to what I imagine they would have.
And
wanted
if they
to
could have,
capture.
I don't think that this is the movie they would have made, which is something I really appreciated about it. You know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
no, it definitely stood alone.
It definitely is more of a true horror film, whereas
Yeah.
like I think Evil Dead kind of ushered in the age of like the horror comedy
Yeah.
type deal.
I think Evil Dead 2 was more
that's
of
fair.
that ushering than
Yeah,
Evil Dead
sure.
1, because like Evil Dead 1, they still tried to keep it spooky and like had really cool elements. There's a lot of homages to the first film.
It's just hard to take a movie too seriously when Bruce Campbell is your lead.
Yeah, but you know, like that came after. Like I think the first one was solid enough for its attempt at a dudes with no budget and like fucking putting cameras on strings and trees and throwing them and shit, you know.
Yeah.
So.
But like in retrospect, especially since the new one came out, Evil Dead Rise, it kind of just makes like it's a franchise, but it makes it feel more like a horror showcase.
Yeah.
Like you get to make a horror movie under the Evil Dead name. Like,
no, exactly. Like
they're just all good in their own way.
And so that right there is exactly why I was frustrated with the intro outro thing of Rise. Because, like, you don't need to set anything up. Because, it's Evil Dead. Like, we just want to be thrown into whatever. It doesn't have to be a connected story by any means. We just want to be thrown into it.
Yeah.
Like, Evil Dead 2013, like, that shit is relentless. That
and
shit
there is
crazy.
like, an intro with another story at the beginning. But it is a lead-in to this one. It is like...
right.
Yeah, it's part of the story. It's not...
It is, but it's just like it was distracting. Like it was part of the story.
I agree. I think they could have easily taken out that weird framing device on Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah,
I just didn't think it detracted from the movie for me.
Right.
But
yeah, no, for sure.
And then last one, American Psycho. Fantastic.
Oh, I haven't. Yeah, it's that movie. Is also
did you watch it for the first time, or this was a rewatch?
It's the first time since I watched it for the first time.
Okay,
which was
so
like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, that's so pretty fresh. Yeah,
Basically,
that film is also pretty goddamn close to perfect.
No.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
So
it actually
relevant.
kind of brought him out of obscurity.
Yeah.
Like, and made him like a real actor.
The fucking scene where he's got Huey Newton and
Huey Lewis in the news
playing.
Huey Lewis in the
yeah, whatever the fuck it is, some wacky 80s shit. But I give him the fucking synopsis of the album as he's dancing around, like putting his fucking plastic coat on, about to smash this dude in the head with an axe. Like, goddamn.
My favorite part is when he's fucking the prostitute
the
in front of the mirror and he's like flexing. Like, I lose my shit every time.
So
I watched it with Tim. And he'd never seen it before, and it's very familiar with a lot of the big scenes in the movie because they've been memed to death.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So like extremely out of context, and so he was kind of blown away by how funny it is. It's such like a weird dark.
Oh yeah,
comedy.
no, it is a very dark comedy. Yeah. Now my favorite scene is when he actually finally snaps because of the business. One of my favorite scenes is the business card scene when he loses his shit. You can see him unravel over this fucking like raised text on the business card. You know? Like, yeah.
Let's see Paul Allen's card.
So
it's an incredible
good.
movie.
Yeah. So I the only thing I really got also somewhat Halloween themed. Molly and I watched A Quiet Place 2, which I had seen A Quiet Place. I had never seen the sequel.
Yeah,
it was okay. I mean, I know that they're doing like a whole like. I kind of went down the rabbit hole to see like are they doing another one of these because they left it kind of open ended.
Oh yeah, they left it very open.
But like it turns out they've got like a whole. So it's the dude who
John
Krasinski, yeah, because he's the kind of the mastermind behind this whole franchise, and apparently they're doing like a prequel that's like the day of that has nothing to do with the family that the whole series is based around.
I would be interested in watching that.
And then afterwards they're going to do a third entry continuing the story of this family, which I mean he's long since like sorry spoilers, he died in the first movie. But so the second one is kind of like a little bit of a prequel and a sequel at the same time.
There was a few too many typical elements, like predictable elements for me. It got a little frustrating.
The only thing, like, creatures can't swim. So, like, hey, if you're a sea captain, this is the world for you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's what I hated. Like, creatures can't swim, but hey, here's this boat that got untethered that floated here, and the creature's in it. Like, at that point, I'm like, God damn it, man. Like, I really, really wanted to like this movie, but you're making it really hard. With that lazy ass shit. Yeah. Like this thing just happened to stow away and this boat just happened to fucking float here. Like after you establish they can't swim, like fuck off. That annoyed me.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what the prequel's gonna be called.
It was called like
A Loud Place.
Quiet Place the first day, I think.
First day.
Yeah. Or day one.
I think it's so funny to watch people flop on when a movie comes out and they don't, you can tell they weren't planning on it being a franchise, and then they have to make it a franchise. So now the franchise is called A Quiet Place. Like that one's okay, but then what was the other one? Oh, the sequel just came out this year, and it's like that's the story. You're keeping that name for your franchise. That's nothing.
Yeah,
that is known to happen. People are getting lazy these days, man.
They are.
People are getting lazy these days.
Yeah, like what if they did like a sequel to The Dark Half? Would it be like the other half of the dark?
The gray half.
Anyway, speaking of movies that we may or may not like, this is we're doing something a little special this week. My last pick was In Bruges, and sorry for any of you sad bastards that ventured out to listen to that one because there were some audio issues.
It was a sad day on our burgeoning podcast.
It turns out it was just a fucked up microphone cord that was the culprit.
Yeah,
we've since fixed the issues, and so anyway, I kind of got screwed out of a pick. So they said that I should do a double feature, and I don't know. Ever since we started doing this podcast, I feel like all the movies have been for the most part pretty enjoyable, and everybody's kind of liked all the movies. And when we kind of set out to do this, I foresaw like a lot of like bickering, and yeah. But the thing is, we bicker like off the air all the time about movies, and so I knew that I had like a handful of we'll call them hidden gems that were uncut, and and so like I use this opportunity to pull them out, and so we have 3 features to bring you. The first one we're going to talk about is Uncut Gems, which is a movie that Reese really enjoyed and John hated.
Fucking aboard.
And then I had never seen it, so I guess I'm the impartial advisor on this one. And after we talk about that, we're going to follow that up with The Village, which I hate it, and John and I, like, John loved it, and like we had like many arguments, knockout, dragouts about this film, and so we finally get to lay that one to rest. And the third and final one is Barbie, which honestly is the movie that inspired this entire episode, because Reese and I recently had a knockout dragout after we recorded one of the most recent episodes.
Dogville. It was after Dogville.
It was after the last episode. So
yeah.
It kind of inspired this. So Reese loves it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And then John was the impartial on that one. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start with Uncut Gems, and we're going to do it right now. So Reese, tell us a little bit about Uncut Gems. What do we need to know? And we're not gonna do the play-by-play for all 3 of these movies. No. We just want to get into the meat, the gist, and
still want a plot description.
Oh yeah, we'll get a plot description.
Okay.
Also, some of the main actors, director,
shitty
anything.
People doing shitty.
It looks like this is, if you want to watch, I think I'll go through these one by one as we get to them.
Yeah, sure. That's the way to do it.
If you want to watch Uncut Gems before we talk about it, and probably won't get into as much spoilers just because we're not going to be talking about them as long, but still.
Yeah.
It looks like it's streaming on Paramount Plus, Showtime, and then available to buy from all the normal places.
Okay.
And then the Letterboxd plot synopsis says, a charismatic New York City jeweler, always on the lookout for the next big score, makes a series of high-stakes bets that could lead to the windfall of a lifetime. Howard must perform a precautious high-wire act, balancing business, family, and encroaching adversaries on all sides in his relentless pursuit of the ultimate win. And the tagline is, "This is how I win."
Okay.
Which is just a quote from the movie.
We should stop reading taglines. They're just all bad.
Well, see, it's a quote from the movie. It's not like a good tagline. It's funny.
Yeah.
There's a couple of quotes.
With like a context of the movie, it actually like it's fair enough.
Yeah.
So charismatic. Yeah, I don't know if that guy's charismatic.
That's the kind of thing where like. No, I don't think the movie wants you to think he's charismatic. I think everyone kind of hates him.
He thinks he's charismatic.
Yeah. He does, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you get that much people to give you money when you obviously shouldn't have money, you must have some amount of charisma.
Yeah, this is a high like a high wire walking motherfucker. The main. What do you call him? He's not a. I guess they're all anti-heroes. Like everyone in the movie is an anti-hero.
I mean, there's no.
No heroes, just people.
Like no heroes, no villains, just people.
Well,
most of them kind of shitty.
There's some villains.
But
so I think.
Who?
I don't know who is not shitty in this movie. They're all shitty.
No, it's a bunch of shitty people.
So all right. So he's got
his oldest son. His oldest son's fine. He doesn't do anything.
yeah. So wealthy.
Did he reference
wealthy Jewish dude has a gem dealing business. He's got a family which he doesn't really appear to. Well, family doesn't like him. He doesn't really like the family all that much. He's got a good connection.
He lives with his mistress.
Yeah, he's got a good connection with his oldest son through basketball. A lot of this movie is about basketball. Really.
Yeah,
like if you like basketball, that probably will help this movie process.
For basketball fans, Kevin Garnett is in the movie and
as himself and
I gotta say, like a lot of
2014.
times we talked about this after the movie. A lot of times, athletes, even playing themselves, like on screen in a movie, like seem like athletes who are trying to be actors playing themselves.
Right.
People always go to like the example of like really bad acting is like porn stars. I think the example of really bad acting is most athletes.
Yeah. Like there are.
Sure.
I mean, there have been a couple that have been okay, but for the most part, they're trash.
Yeah. Even like as much as people like Space Jam, Michael Jordan is pretty bad in Space Jam.
Oh yeah, he is
for sure.
And there were some like fringe, like technically like guys like Kevin Costner. He was an athlete before. He was
right.
You know, like or guys, it's just like he couldn't cut it as a baseball player, and so he gave acting a try, and then he just did all the baseball movies.
Yeah. But it's there's a difference
out.
also of like. Famous athletes who then become actors.
Yeah. And there's a short list of like ones who've broken through. I think that have done a pretty fine job.
Yeah.
So
now, as far as like good people, bad people in the movie, like Kevin Garnett probably. He's not bad. He's pretty blank. He's just an athlete. Like, you don't see enough of his character to say he's bad.
He just gets jerked around by Adam Sandler.
Main character
he kind of jerks Adam Sandler around.
No, he jerks Adam Sandler around too. He's not like a great guy by any means in this situation. Adam Sandler has a buddy that like helps him sell shit. Helps him like he fences things for this guy. He's also not a great guy. The mistress is a mistress. She's not bad. I mean, she genuinely adores Adam Sandler's character, which is super fucking inexplicable too.
Literally go out of their way to show that even by herself, she does like.
Yeah, no,
really
that's one of the better
that's
one of the better performance elements of the film is like she really does convince you that she genuinely loves this guy who is a fucking scumbag.
Yeah,
and doesn't make any sense.
She's not too bright.
No, she's not bright.
Okay,
not bright.
Stupidity does not make you a bad person.
So she's arguably okay. Like nobody's better than okay here.
Yeah.
That's what we're working with. Nobody's better than okay. Adam Sandler is probably his character is the villain. I mean, really. The other villain is the guy. Spoiler that shoots him in the face.
Adam Sandler gets shot in the face.
Yeah, he gets shot in the face.
We can move on to the next one.
But
we said there would be no spoilers.
I didn't say no spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Just didn't know how much.
There will be
this
spoilers.
movie.
Watch the fucking movie.
This movie is about the ride. It's about the experience of it.
Yeah.
Now, you have to be a bit of a fucking masochist to enjoy this ride because it's made to be fucking painful.
Yeah.
They go out of their way to make this entire film experience really painful.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like,
I'd say I still like the movie, but I think I watched it just last year.
Right.
And then before that, I saw it in theaters. Those are 3 times now I've seen it, and it's not really a once a year movie. I think you really need space in between it to get the full impact.
It's a lot, and like I think maybe seeing it in theaters could benefit the film just because you could maybe get lost in the score. This movie has an interesting musical score, but in my mind, it doesn't fit the film at all.
I'm gonna stop you right there, and I think. Overall, my feelings about the film are more positive than negative. But I fucking hated the sound in every way. I watched it a second time.
They make it so abrasive.
And,
it's so abrasive.
It's to me, it's not like I feel like the sound is bad. Particularly the sound mixing.
Yeah.
Especially in the first 30 minutes of the film.
Oh, it's grueling.
It's
grueling to get
so
through.
the score kind of gets in the way of the dialogue. Like
it does.
Like the mixing is like the score is too high, and the score honestly is just like horrible piercing sound. It's like not pleasant. And like and you're trying to hear dialogue over this horrible piercing sound. And
yeah, but so the thing is though, the dialogue is just also horrible piercing sound.
Yes, for the first 30 minutes, it definitely is. Yes,
it's all just the first hour of this movie is droning noise. You have just this crazy, and again, this music doesn't fit the scenario at all. Most of the time, it feels like triumphant and it's swelling and it's like this big orchestral sound thing that doesn't go with any of the circumstances that are happening. It doesn't fit. Like it's cool. Like set to a different scenario, taken on its own. I think that it could be an interesting score, but like they layered that on top of just hectic dialogue and sound. It's not just dialogue. Like when he goes into one of the first shots you get into his dealership, there's like all the background noise, the cash register, the background talking. There's like 3 layers of people talking through every part of this film. With this drowning, just like fucking ranch dressing with butter and oil on a salad sound on top of all of that. It's like fucking Christ, man. It's so much.
Yeah, and then on top of all that, we've got Adam Sandler in the lead. And his character is quite abrasive. So when you have all this like kind of background noise and like he's just like he's just a very abrasive character, and
most of the characters
fights with all the other characters.
Pretty much for the first hour, disagree with me if you can, but I'm pretty sure everybody just yells for about an hour.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like everybody's just yelling. So you just have like layers of like 5 people yelling on top of this really aggressive orchestral music for like an hour.
Yeah.
So if you can get into that.
Well, so I was thinking about the comparison I drew after this watch was oh my god, I just lost his name. The guy who did Robert Altman.
Yeah.
He kind of like revolutionized how sound and dialogue was recorded in filmmaking, whereas it used to be every movie was mic'd the exact same way as the overhead mic, and that's or one person talks, dialogue, and then he kind of like really popularized and revolutionized where like you got one mic and it's a whole room of people talking, and you're not even necessarily supposed to keep track of any one conversation. And it was like in a lot of ways that Streetcar Named Desire. Marlon Brando kind of revolutionized acting and brought more realism to it instead of like the Broadway theatrical acting. And I think this is like kind of the evolution of that, not in a way that I think it's going to change film, because it's not pleasant and people ultimately do want to watch pleasant films, but in a way that's like going for over the top, like hyper realism in the surrounding and feeling and
the atmospheric experience,
immersion, just going for like almost documentary, like
and they
invisible camera crew.
They definitely did that, and that's what pisses me off about that obnoxious score is like that detracts from that. Like you lose a lot of like that because this crazy music is just drowning half the shit out. So
it might be the worst score I've ever heard, honestly.
The music is what
I feel like if you take that score out and you just put normal, like regular music for a regular person,
I want regular music for a regular person.
If you do that, then like I probably just add a star to my review.
Yeah. I'm very interested because it's honestly not anything that was on my radar the first 3 times I watched it. I know like the music and the sound is abrasive, but at no point was I like, God, I fucking hate this sound.
When they started rolling the beginning credits, so there's like the very, very intro before there's and like that thing. And it plays throughout. And it dulls a little bit once they start like they lowered the sound a little bit once they start having like dialogue.
Yeah.
Only a little bit, and then it comes
I had never
back.
seen the movie before, and we're watching it at your house, and like, at first I thought there was something wrong with your sound system. I'm just like, oh my god, man! Like this is rough. Like it was hurting my ears, you know. And then like, you know, it's one of those movies where like the credits, they kind of like get the action rolling, and then like, you know, you're 5-10 minutes in the movie and they're still popping up.
And they do this slow zoom out of a butthole.
Yeah. That's
slow zoom out of a butthole. Experience. By the way, here's a key grip. You know, like
no, and that's so. All right, man. That's the thing. This movie is just a fucking. It's something that's dressed up to clown proportion in my mind, because it's like it could just be a really good drama, and like they do so much to make it something so much more, and it's like you're just taking away from it. Like, this is a good drama at heart. And, like, to me, it's just, like, so much aggressive. Like, this is an art house movie. We're fucking, like, to me, it's just pretentious. Like, you had a good drama. You had a solid film here with a good cast, with good performances. And you just do all this to just, I don't know why. I can't track why they did it, because it's just so much the whole time. And it's like, that's the thing. Like, okay, so that intro scene... First off, this fucking gem is ill-gotten. He pays some dudes to go fucking rob it from a mine.
It's a blood diamond, basically.
That they can only do because somebody broke his fucking leg and they can sneak in and take it.
Yeah.
And then it's like them looking at this gem and they like get lost into the gem. Which at some point, like at that point when on the rewatch, I'm like, you know, like if they could like try to come at this as like this gem has some kind of fucking mystical powers to like mind fuck somebody, like it might make it more interesting. That's not what the movie is.
Well, I feel like they had those implications in the way of like
they do.
A natural feeling way.
Yeah, the natural just human obsession with pretty things.
Yeah.
It was totally the Gollum effect is what they did.
For sure. And I feel like it would have been a better movie if they leaned a little bit more into that. But so you go into this the view loses itself inside this diamond, does all this crazy fucking awesome visuals of like nebulaic color and fucking cool shit, and it's super prolonged and super awesome. And then as it goes through
there was
gem,
a graphic designer on the
yeah.
But as you get this epic score. That's what's so frustrating, right? It starts with this like this dynamic moment, and you get lost in this gem, and it's this epic music score that starts to come in. It's like, all right, this is pretty gripping. This is pretty interesting. Like, where are we going with this? And it goes through this diamond, and it has all these different colors and all this stuff, and the score keeps swelling. And then you're coming out of a guy's asshole. Like,
yeah,
that's some fucking pretentious nonsense, man. Like, fuck off with that.
While you're hearing this this terrible music, and these horrific sounds, you are going like down a journey through some intestines. There's a full colonoscopy. It's basically the intro to the whole film.
Now, basically, this film is just like a prolonged look at an asshole, and like Adam Sandler is just his character. Can't help himself. He's addicted to gambling. He just makes nothing but bad decisions the entire way.
So you think the colonoscopy is like foreshadowing for the entire movie? And
I think so.
Here's this asshole.
Yeah.
And here's this asshole's asshole.
Yeah. Because he just does nothing but fuck people over. Like he's what did the synopsis say? That he's like enemies on all sides. Like you're the enemy.
Yeah.
Like all you do is fuck people over. Like the first time you meet the basketball player, he's like, oh yeah. When he wants to fucking to hold the gem, he's like, he asks for the ring from the basketball player as like collateral.
Yeah.
And then he fucking immediately pawns it. The next scene
is
this
not like 10 minutes later, like
dude, yeah. As soon as that guy's out the room, he's like,
as soon as KG leaves, he immediately pawns it.
All this dude does is fuck people over the entire movie.
He pawns it, and like he like there's some haggling over what's worth. He was like. The guy's looking at it, like making sure it's real. He's like, it was on his finger like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And so he gets like 21 grand or something. And, and he immediately uses it to place a bet because KG was like all talking about like how like I'm feeling the power from this thing. Like,
and we never actually see confirmation. I don't even know if it's implied that he ever gets KG's ring back.
No, he does.
He does get it back.
He builds
Okay.
his own ring later.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
because he wouldn't be able to get the fucking diamond back without the dude's ring, so he had to.
It's the character is like idiotic to the point of the things he thinks is just totally fine that he can get away with.
Yeah, no, he just gives no fucks at any point.
Yeah.
So the main character is an addict, right? So he is a gambling addict, and I know a lot of people think that there's the old the League joke that there's no such thing as sex addicts. There's just dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's addicts for everything.
Yeah, there are addicts for everything, and it's a true disease.
And
I know because I have experience with it in my own family. So I've seen it firsthand how it can tear a family apart, and that's totally Adam Sandler, and that's what this is to me. Adam Sandler's character, he's kind of just the forefront of a story that's about addiction and human struggle, and just as people the inability to get out of your own way.
Yeah. And that's it is a great representation of that, and I do appreciate that about this film, and they have that. And all the performances in this film are great. The dialogue is just these regular ass people. The dialogue is not anything super alluring or enticing or poignant or eloquent. It's just dialogue of these random fucking people. It's done well. It's appropriate for the characters. So good performances across the board from everybody, really. And
I also wonder what the casting of this movie was like, because they got some of the weirdest looking people.
Oh, they
for
did.
Bit roles.
The extras.
Yeah, the extras, the two guys that come up to him
and shit. Yeah.
to try and shake him up, but they have no backbone.
Guys, I think they just found actual pawn people.
Yeah.
They went to pawn shops. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
The mistress, I think, was maybe the most miscast, just because she was super sexy.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking the whole time, I'm thinking Adam Sandler, the actor, couldn't get this chick. Everybody in the world knows who he is and loves him. He could not get this chick. But I'm supposed to believe that this douchebag piece of shit that he's playing could.
The character is completely inexplicable anyway. They present us this character who has a business that seems to be successful enough.
Yeah.
He's dealing with people with a lot of money, but then everything you see after being introduced to this character is this guy could never have any money. Yeah. How does this guy even exist? This guy would have been dead in a dumpster fucking by the time he was 22.
Yeah.
There's no this character makes zero sense to still be alive today. And then you throw in this mistress, and it's that's really inexplicable. The entire character is inexplicable. But the thing that's frustrating is that they have a good drama there. They had no reason to dress it up with this crazy, obnoxious music score. They didn't have to make this. They didn't have to make this expression of addiction, this examination of addiction. So it tracks an amount, right? It attracts an amount that an examination of addiction should be abrasive. It shouldn't feel good. Sure, that's fine, but sweet Jesus Christ, is it overkill? It's just overkill.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised by that, because I've heard you guys kind of, having never seen the movie, I've heard you guys kind of go at it about this film, and nobody had ever mentioned the sound, and literally I'm watching the movie and that's I can't, the first 5 minutes, that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the movie was over, that's the first thing you mentioned, and I'm thank God that you mentioned that, because I thought I was the only one. I thought I was losing my mind or something.
No, it's a very frustrating film to me, because it is a good, it's not, the film in its core is not bad. I hate what they did. I hate that they tried to make it such a fucking art house thing. We're so fucking smart. We got to make this thing so artistic. You don't have to. You have a drama. Yeah. Make the fucking drama. And it would have been good. It would have been fine.
I don't know. I feel as just straight down the plate drama, maybe more akin to, I don't know, maybe some of the past dramas we've watched, In the Bedroom, or I don't think the story holds up.
I don't need the happy ending
to support. I think it needs the extra, the weirdness and the characters.
I'm trying to defend it here, and you're just shooting fucking holes in my defense.
I like it.
If we're talking about the sound, I don't think the sound is defensible. I think it's just bad. I think that was a horrible choice But
the story isn't as good as those stories.
So past that,
it's
just what we're talking about. So if we're talking, if you look at it in the terms of addiction, and you think about other movies about addiction, so you think about like I don't know, what's a good addiction movie, like Basketball Diaries, or what's the one with Jared Leto where his fucking arm falls off?
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream.
Does his arm fall off?
Yeah.
Basically,
you haven't seen Requiem for a Dream.
See, Requiem Dream is just as abrasive as this.
It is,
but it's way more like it's.
And I just think it's the way that people think about addiction, right? So they think about like something you're putting in your body that like alters your chemical like balance to where like you can't get away from it because the addiction is something that's like a chemical dependency.
Yeah.
And so I think that like the common person probably doesn't take something like sexual addiction or gambling addiction the same, because it's not like it's a chemical imbalance you're born with, basically.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And so I kind of appreciated it just because it just kind of, I knew how it was going to end.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I'm sure there are a lot of people that like watch this, and sorry, spoiler again, he does get shot in the face. He really does get shot in the face. But the thing is, he needed to get shot in the face in that scene, because you're watching the movie and it's just like there's like bulletproof glass between him and a dude that definitely should shoot him in the face. And it's just like the glass isn't going to be there forever. Eventually it's going to come up and he's going to get shot in the face. And so if they had like devised a way,
good lawyer could probably get that guy off as like self-defense, kidnapping.
If they had like devised a way to make it to where the gambling addict wins this huge bet because of like his like inside info on like the prima donna athlete's obsession with an uncut gem. And then he's like hugging the guys who like the collectors at the end and like giving them their money, and everybody like that would have been like so much worse for the movie than what happened. Ultimately
no,
happened.
it was like he definitely, and again, this guy probably really realistically would have been dead by the time he was fucking 20.
No, that's fair.
Anyway,
that's completely
this guy
fair.
Would have been murdered and dumped in an alley a long time ago. So no, I can appreciate. And once you get past that first hour, and it gets into where the story really starts, the culmination, the peak of the story happens. It's engaging. It's good. Like they toned the fucking music down for one. That helps. And it's very engaging. It's good. It's well done. But like, just I don't know why. I don't know why they had to lean so hard into making every piece of this so uncomfortable. And like, Requiem for a Dream is abrasive, but it's abrasive in different ways. Like, this is just abrasion, is what most of this movie is. It's the noise never stops between the music and the chatter and the yelling and the background noise. Like, it's fucking constant for an hour. And like, I can get and I can appreciate wanting to like put you in an atmosphere and put you in the scene and immerse you in it, but like it's so much immersion, and half of it again, the thing that I stress about the music too is not that it's like bad music. The music is fine. It doesn't make any sense because it's triumphant and swelling and big and epic, and none of these things apply to this film's story. None of this is epic, none of this is triumphant. It's just a guy shitting his own pants the entire time and shitting on other people. And like, it just doesn't make any sense. And for me, that's a big disconnect with that, because I love interesting music. It's not bad for what it is, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it's like an idyllic fucking children's playground with two people fucking in the middle of it, you know? Yeah. Like, it's kids having a nice day, playing fucking dodgeball and catch and stuff, and then these two fucking, like, a gangbang in the middle of a fucking playground. Is it like how, like, against the grain the music feels to what's happening? It just doesn't make any sense. The other frustrating thing, too, about this movie is that so many times, this thing all could have been resolved. Like, when he pawns the ring, gets the 20 grand, he places a bet, which actually works, because it's the first time the KG has the gem, and he kills it, and he wins, and then his brother-in-law?
Yeah,
brother-in-law that he owes 100 grand to, again, also inexplicable, obviously you wouldn't loan this fucking idiot $100,000.
He was backed by some like mafia type individuals.
Right.
Some mafia.
I mean, it's pretty easy to like pick holes in his plot because his plot is that of an addict that doesn't like. I think also you could say the triumphant music and stuff plays into his mindset. That like
that's fair.
You know,
that's fair.
Like this is how I win, right?
Yeah.
You know, where it's like he's viewing these as like
I can get behind that for certain scenes.
Yeah.
But that would only apply to certain scenes because they apply the music to scenes that's not happening and it's not him and it's like I could definitely get behind that. Yeah. But it just runs the whole gamut. It's all the way through. But at the very end, when he finally gets the money, he ends up selling this diamond to this basketball player after a bunch of shit where he fucks another person over, his family member of some kind.
Yeah. He fucks himself over because he ends up owing his dad like $70,000.
So I just want to point out, like, what he's doing isn't really in his mind fucking people over. It's like it's using shit as resources. Like when he takes he takes KG's championship ring, immediately takes it to a pawn shop across town, and is like, how much cash can I get for this right now? Yeah. And they're like, you know, we can only hold it for you until next Sunday or whatever. And he's like, if I'm not here by next Sunday, I'm a fucking dead.
So I will say he does have a degree of the most genuine intentions. Yeah. Right? I'll say that for the character. Like he wants to pay everyone back. But he can't ever stop long enough to be able to do that.
He also wants more money.
Yeah, because like he has the money to pay. He could have easily just paid his brother-in-law back. Yeah. He gets $170,000 from this basketball player. Could have bet $70,000.
This is where the true, like, the mind of a gambling addict comes into play.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Because that's what happens. They get into trouble, and then somebody bails them out, and instead of like, okay, well, since you're my brother, I'll bail you out. And it's like, and then what do? They take that money and they're like, well, fuck, I can go double this. At
that point,
well, then I can pay you back and have money.
At that point, you just know that it's fucked, and the movie's at its climax. It's over. He's gonna get shot in the face. He's gonna fucking die because like he could have just done it, and if he would have done it, he would have been in the fucking money. It would have been like all of his problems would have been solved. Everything would have been great, you know. But he just couldn't. So
yeah.
Like I said, the story to me is definitely defensible. Some of the characters are what they are. They're defensible too. I fucking despise the presentation of this film.
Yeah.
I think that they tried. To me, it just feels super try hard. It doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit to me. It doesn't make any sense that they had to do it that way. And like,
I think it goes back to what you said, where they were maybe semi trying to make it an art house film.
I think that's what it was. I think they were just trying really hard to make it more interesting than like they're just dressing it up.
I got to thinking afterwards, and like, so every negative that you have about the film, John, I think is completely valid. Like everything that you hate about it, I can't defend any of that. You're 100%, but like. That being said, there was something alluring about the film that I did enjoy, and like we were talking about it like on the ride home after watching the movie, and I was just like I can't really like I didn't turn it off. I kind of knew what was going to happen, but I still wanted to see it happen. Yeah, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing. You hope for some. You want a resolution out of this, especially after you invest. Shit, dude, after you invest the first 20 minutes, you're like, God damn, I'm getting something out of this movie. Yeah. That shit was arduous. You know, that shit was rough.
Well, and so it gets me into the whole art house thinking. And is it like all purposeful? Like is like the obnoxious music and the pacing and the yelling.
Of course it's purposeful.
And like is it all like, are you supposed to watch this movie and be like, you know what? There was a lot of things I didn't like about that, but like at the end, I kind of liked it.
That's kind of how I feel.
Gem of a film. Yeah. You know, it's like it's like is that what they were
pretentious as fuck?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is
pretentious as fuck. And I cannot.
Have you ever
handle pretension?
Walked into like the modern art section of a museum?
I hate it. I don't.
All they want you to do is like What? That's exactly what they want from me.
I hate art. I fucking hate art most of the time. And when I get pretentious art housey bullshit, so the movie I'm going to name for the Halloween thing is like.
No, this isn't the time. This isn't the time. All right.
It touches on that subject. I fucking despise pretentious art. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate pretentious artists. I hate pretentious art. That's why I hate this movie so much, because it's fucking pretentious. Yeah. There's no conversation you can have that you can't acknowledge that this fucking thing is pretentious. Because if that is, it is all intentional. They make you sit through an hour of uncomfortable bullshit of nothing just so they can maybe get that. Fuck off. You should have just made a drama. I hate this fucking movie. Hate it.
All right.
Dustin, final thoughts?
Final thoughts? I think I just made them. I mean, I wonder if that's the case. Like, was it supposed to be an uncut gem of a movie?
It is.
Did they purposefully make imperfections so that they could call their own movie an uncut gem?
Yeah.
It definitely is that. And it's not even just imperfections. It's like they make it a grueling fucking task.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
They make it a grueling task of just, it's a cacophony of noise. Fucking cacophony of noise. Of just regular shitty people being regular shitty people against a bunch of fucking noise.
The performances, I think, are all good.
They are all good.
Adam Sandler.
Absolutely.
If he could just not do comedies, I think he's good.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit of a layup. He's playing a New York Jew, basically, which it's not too much of a stretch, you know. So. Yeah,
I'll note the positives of the film, like as far as the filmmaking.
Spoiler alert! I will say, if I will probably we're gonna do this at the end of tonight's episode, but like spoiler alert, of the three movies, I think this was my favorite.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be kind of a rough night.
Yeah. It's not the kind of movie I feel a lot of inner motivation to like defend, because it's like if
you don't like it, I get why.
I totally get. It's not like I want to. Someone says, if you guys are like, hey, what of the movies that we've watched, we should sit down and watch a movie that we've rewatched. Like, well, I don't feel like watching this one again. Like I said, it's like a once every 5 year type of movie.
If you haven't watched it, by all means watch it.
Yeah, watch it once.
I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, it is worth a watch.
It is one of those if I watched it and immediately I was like, okay, so like, we usually watch all the movies together, and then like we might watch it alone or with a significant or whatever.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times I'll rewatch the movies with Molly, and like I watch that movie and I'm like, I'm just not rewatching this, Molly. She
would not enjoy it.
She was the exact kind of person who would like get enthralled. Like she would get a connection to the character and then be completely pissed off when he just got shot in the face.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? like she would just throw her hands and be like, what? And she'd look at me as if it was my fault that he got shot in the face,
So that's the thing too. Like, all right, you didn't shoot this guy in the face. What would have made me much more satisfied at the end of this movie is if it would have just went blank. Right then. I would have felt so much better. Shoot this motherfucker in the face and end the movie. Boom. Like, I would have just
Reservoir Dogs ending. I
would have felt so much better about it. But they make you sit through.
The gun jammed. He survived. There's going to be conspiracy theories online.
It's like after that, it's just more noise and bullshit. And it's like, then this pretty broad gets to walk away with, like, who knows how much money.
Millions, most likely.
She's fucking pretty. Like, cool. Okay. But yeah, I mean. It's not a movie you would want to watch again, probably. Everybody, like, I watch a lot of weird fucking shit, so I think people should watch about anything once.
Yeah.
But it pisses me off because there's a real movie there.
Yeah.
And I feel like all the clown makeup just ruined it. That's my take.
Yeah.
Too much clown makeup.
So I think the clown makeup makes it more interesting.
No.
It makes it a clown. That's what clown makeup does. It makes it a clown. It made it a clown.
No. We're gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah,
sounds good.
So, John, you and I have had this argument too many times to count about the Village.
I mean, like probably 5.
And like, they're like, I'm pretty sure I know at one point, and like I was like, I think it's my least favorite movie of all time is The Village. And you're like, what?
Yeah. No. Okay. So that's the thing.
And it had been a while since you saw the movie. It honestly, to be fair, it had been 10 plus years since I think either one of us had seen the movie.
Yeah. I think I watched it like 6 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
That's a long time.
It'd been at least a decade.
Your brain's different from 6 years ago.
I was probably doing something else while watching it. So that's the thing. All right, I will.
Because I know that coming into this that you were not prepared to like defend this movie too much after the rewatch.
No, it's a piece of shit. So that's the thing. I made the post about this episode, and my mind was changed on one of these movies, and it was this movie, and it's not good. I mean, it's not good. And so the thing for me, why I love the idea of this movie. I love this movie being the sociological experiment that it is. All right. So the setting for this film.
Should we say?
Read the synopsis.
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, definitely his worst movie.
Oof, that's a low bar.
I do want to say
it's a high bar. Actually.
I do want to say that I did doing research for tonight. I did see where his actually like critically most like hated movie is Lady in the Water.
Yeah,
which I've never seen.
That's the first one of his I ever saw. I saw it when I was a kid.
So like I kind of want to watch that now.
God damn!
I kind of want to watch that to see.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 2005 or some shit.
Yeah, so I really want to watch that now to see if it's really as bad as this.
I kind of want to rewatch it because,
I do too.
Yeah, okay, that might be once we get past the holiday theme stuff that we're doing. We should use one of these Friday nights.
It's got some horror elements. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I remember enjoying it.
Yeah. It's got
also has Bryce Dallas Howard in it. Yeah.
And it's got Homeboy from Sideways.
Paul Giamatti?
Yeah, Paul Giamatti. I love Paul Giamatti.
Is he in it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is. He's like the lead. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
He's only the main character. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. That's how long it's been since I watched it.
Clearly a memorable performance.
Like I said, I liked that movie when I was a kid, and then I watched the rest of his filmography, and then it's like, God, he's such a...
He's hit or miss, man.
He is the most hit or miss.
He is very hit or miss.
He's like the Russian roulette of filmmakers.
What this movie tells me is he can't write.
Oh, no.
This movie we're talking about proves he can't write specifically this. I think that his skill set is not in writing, I think.
Dialogue. I would say his
dialogue.
I don't want to underplay this. I think that this is as poorly written of a script as you will find anywhere.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with that.
And he has an all-star cast.
It's really good.
If you were to remake this movie with like the budget of The Room, you guys know that, the Tommy Wiseau movie?
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one?
I don't.
That's like the most famous bad movie of all the... I did not hit her. I did not.
Oh, no. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Movie. Okay. If you remade this movie with that budget and kept all the same dialogue, it would fit perfectly. It's that bad.
The most famed bad movie of all time to me is Plan 9 from Outer Space by Ed Wood.
Yeah. All right, let's do this synopsis.
Okay. It is currently streaming on Hulu, so very easy to get a hold of. It also looks like it's on sale for $5 on Amazon, Microsoft.
Don't do it.
TV and Vudu. Yeah, don't do it.
Well, I mean,
it's not worth $5.
This movie is worth one watch.
Yeah.
If you've never seen it, it's worth one watch.
I think it's worth one watch if you have a strong reason to want to watch it.
This podcast is a good reason.
If you want to, if you want to complete M. Night's filmography or complete like Joaquin Phoenix.
I actually stopped watching his movies after the first time I watched this. I'm like, I can't do it.
He just got some golden ticket and they just never took it away.
He's got some good stuff. I'll still defend him as a director.
I'm going to go back and rewatch all of his stuff. And that is on the heels of his series Servant.
I think we can all agree Unbreakable is
Unbreakable
and Sixth Sense.
The sequels, they did kind of sequels to Unbreakable that were not as good.
No.
But I did really enjoy Servant. I think it's on Apple TV. If you have that, I actually recommend that. And I don't know. So I watched this series, and the first season like really drew me in. And I want to say it's like a 3-season deal. And like the whole time, I'm watching it with Molly. I'm like, I'm so nervous because I know he's just gonna like fuck it all up, right? Like, like things are going well. I'm like enthralled in the story. The characters are like believable and like kind of creepy, and I like it. And it's dark, and like the whole time I'm just like, even like we're on the last season, and there's like we're the like second to last episode, the last episode, like going into those last couple episodes, I'm just like I just know he's gonna fuck it up. He's gonna try to outsmart us all, and it's like for 3 seasons I had you, right. And spoiler alert, he doesn't. He doesn't try to outsmart everyone. He just tells a true story over 3 seasons, and it's actually good. So
it's not. You don't mean like it's not based on a true story though.
It's not based on a true story. No. It is very. It's probably the closest thing he has. Now it's a series. It's the closest thing he has to true horror, I would say. Oh, wow. It's very much about like good versus evil. Yeah. There are very much like religious overtones. I just thought it was a really good series. It was a really solid series. It wasn't like the greatest series of all time, but like I think there's like a shortage of good horror series to watch in general. Like there's only really a handful.
Yeah.
And like I totally would recommend this over like the next season of American Horror Story.
Don't give me started.
Yeah, that's a story for another day. But I don't even know how. Like I was so off of M. Night Shyamalan. I don't even know why. I guess we were just like we were wanting content in the form of a series, and it's like, let's give this a go.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
powered right through
even after that praise, I still don't know if I can bring myself to devote that much time to an M. Night Shyamalan project.
That's fair.
That's fair. Is one episode. And you go
that's true. One episode, but
yeah, it's one at a time. And really, I think like, I don't know. Let's talk about The Village. Yeah. Let's talk about The Village.
Synopsis, as far
it is hard to talk about an M. Night movie without talking about M. Night because he is such a weird, interesting director.
Yeah, he's a total fucking weirdo. Which huge fan of Entourage, and he does his cameo in Entourage, and it's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
because Jeremy Piven is the best character in Entourage. He plays a guy named Ari Gold, and he is a Hollywood agent, one of the like best Hollywood agents. So he's just like a fast talking, like get deals done kind of guy, and he like meets M. Night in like this like fucking weird parking lot that's in like a park next to some woods, and it's just like. And like he's just sitting there, like waiting, in his car, and then like M. Night just knocks on the window, like real quick, like no car pulls up, he just knocks on the window. He's like, "Holy fuck!" And it's just like, "God damn it! You like you creepy motherfucker! You like creep me the fuck out!" And he's just like hands him the script and like walks away. And like I just thought it was like a nice little cameo because like that's totally like how I view him from afar, just this fucking weirdo that's just gonna like kind of creep up on you in your car and hand you the script for your next movie,
Okay, so here's the plot synopsis for The Village. When a willful young man tries to venture beyond his sequestered Pennsylvania hamlet, his actions set off a chain of chilling incidents that will alter the community forever.
Yes, fair enough.
Pennsylvania. Wait, what?
Apparently it takes place in Pennsylvania. I don't remember them ever saying that.
Yeah, I think that's a terrible synopsis because that is never established. I think it might be established at the end of the movie.
At the very end it might be.
The very end?
Yeah.
Like, that's not something you put in a synopsis.
No. Yeah.
Like, if nothing else, like, he's trying to, like, build... You don't know. Like, this could be a mystical land. It might not even be Earth.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We don't know.
Especially after you start seeing the quote-unquote creatures. It does seem to imply some supernatural elements.
This thing... Like, that's why I said this movie is good for... a watch, right? Because when you have seen it and it is revealed, it's nothing but frustrating. Like, it's nothing but frustrating. If you know what's happening, you cannot enjoy this movie after the fact.
Yeah.
So I obviously hate this movie from the first time I watched it. And I do want to point out that this one got me in. There was some backup. It's undeniably bad, but the first time I ever watched it, I was watching with a buddy. And it was like, early 20s, like me in my early 20s, my buddy in my early 20s. And like, we were drinking all day. I think we were probably smoking pot back in the day. And we like fell asleep watching this movie or like we got too tired. We're like, we'll finish this tomorrow. and he was crashing at my place, and like so we like stopped a movie, and I'm one of those guys that like I was kind of hazy. I'd been drinking, I'd been smoking. Like, let's just start the movie over from the beginning. Like that way, it's like one constant run through while we're like eating our Cheerios in the morning. And so like I started the entire movie over, and like literally we had cut it off right before the reveal of like the shed.
Right. Yeah.
And so like I was kind of really into it.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and then like, and then
smash.
Oh my god, what a terrible morning!
Yeah,
like, and I'll never forget my buddy telling me like, what a fucking letdown! What a piece of shit! I can't believe we started it over.
Yeah. No, I mean like it is. So I enjoy his filmmaking. I enjoy his like the camera work. I enjoy the atmosphere. I think he does good on those fronts, right? I think he does good on like all those things. But and if you watch this version, it is immersive, and like without knowing the reveal, the painful dialogue sits just well enough that the performances can carry it enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't disagree with you more here. Actually, I think the performances are trash, and it's not the actor's fault. I think the writing is so bad that like every actor on screen feels uncomfortable to me. Like, you get the worst. He got the worst out of all that. There's so much talent on screen. He got the worst out of all of them.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I do think the performances were just good enough to hold it together. I think it's the only thing that holds this movie together, or is the cast and their delivery of his bullshit. But I think that's the only thing that really makes it work. And
yeah, I think with less talent in the first like 40 minutes, I don't think you would even.
I think the only thing that like. The only positive thing that I could say about this film, and I do hate it a lot. It still, I think, is my least favorite film of all time. Joaquin Phoenix somehow is good in the movie, despite the fact that he's never given anything good to say.
No one's given anything good to say.
No, nobody's given any. And like he's actually. Like, he's just good. It just made me realize how good of an actor he actually is.
He gets to be the most quiet. I think that really helps his character stand out.
For sure.
I realize that a lot of what makes him special as an actor are his mannerisms and like facial expressions.
That's what really
he can do a lot with a little.
Yeah, that's what really drives home the best actors in my mind is if they can do something with that.
Going back to the writing, M. Night. There's no emotion. Like, there is no human connection or emotion in this movie. It has no heart. No heart whatsoever.
There's
like,
a tiny amount, but
there's like a love story that's supposed to kind of exist that just kind of gets thrown at us that, like, this has been a building thing that we didn't know about. And, like, the love story is just kind of like, hey, we're supposed to be in love. And there's no actual emotion in the dialogue between the two people.
I disagree with that.
It is. We get a shot. The closest we get to any kind of a love feeling is we get a shot of them holding hands, and then a pan close into a close up of them holding hands. That is how he portrays love. Or the idea of love in this movie. He can't do it through dialogue.
The scene where he's after the first monster attack and he's sitting on her porch and she comes out and talks to him. That scene has real emotion. It's not just a handhold. Like, that's actually a close up. They talk through their shit. Like, I agree with you that it's mostly bereft of it, but it is present. It's not as by any means as much as it should be, but there is at least that. That is the only thing that makes any of this worth fucking sitting through. That's the only saving grace for this fucking piece of shit, is just that one emotional connection that he can establish. The rest of it, all the dialogue is just super forced. He never should have attempted to write 19th century language.
Oh, yeah. It's also, it says, like, he's trying to do his, like, best Jane Austen impression with the dialogue. And, like,
it's bad.
It's too slow. It's too slow.
Joaquin's, like, speech to her where he's like, why can't you let me lead? But then it ends with him being like, and can't you tell I want to see you every day for the rest of your life? It's like, you think you're writing, like, a big romantic
He's paraphrasing.
Epic.
Yeah. He's paraphrasing because nothing that could be said in 3 words is said in less than 12.
Exactly. That's what's so fucking annoying.
And it's not just that.
Grindingly.
It's also the it's almost like the actors were instructed to deliver the dialogue as slowly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Like it was exhausting.
No, it's
it's absolutely
very
exhausting trying to listen to
exhausting.
these actors speak. And it's some really good actors in this movie.
Yeah,
really good
good.
actors.
The cast is crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's too good. Like they gave him too much and he didn't know what to do with it.
The thing that
it's a lot of wasted too. Like Sigourney Weaver, where she had like 3 lines.
Yeah.
Got fucking Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, no, it's super wasted. Now the thing that I held on to about this film is it as a sociological experiment, because what it is, spoiler, there's no
monsters aren't real.
Yeah, no monster. Well, the monsters are humans.
It's the monster from the real world, which is just bad parents.
Yeah.
The
biggest monster of all.
But so the interesting thing, I love sociological shit. I love sociological study. I love anything in those realms. I love social experiments. I love, what it takes to like understanding and dissecting society and civilization. And what this movie presents is a group of people trying to restart society, to break away from the bad that is in society and make something pure. And they happen to choose a 19th century setting, which is fine. Like, that's good enough. It's just before industrialization, which is what really turned the world into what it is now. So it is like a good, pure moment in human history to a degree. And especially when you have absolute control.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is what this place is as a social experiment and what it takes to create a clean slate, the psychological conditioning, the triggers and mechanics you have to use to make that work. That's the thing about this film that I like. And he actually, I think, has enough of that on point to make it feel good enough. Like, he touches on certain things that are necessary in that. He creates a threat. He creates fear. He creates a mystery. He does the things, these people in this setting do the things required to pull off what it is they're trying to do. But his writing in how this thing became formed and how it works, it's all super, super lazy. So, like, that's the thing the only attachment I have to this movie is just simply that. Because I love the idea of a restart. I love the idea of a breakaway. I love the idea of examining human psychology, which is what this movie partially is an examination of human psychology. What you can do with a little. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to manipulate people psychologically. It doesn't take much to create a controlled environment that people will fucking bend over and do whatever you ask them to do. And that's what I've always liked about this film, is it's a good showcase of that, of how easy it is to control and manipulate and define boundaries in the human experience. So that's my only attachment after rewatching it. And actually, like, again, if you know the bit, then everything falls apart.
Yeah.
Because then you just watch it.
That
and
really
then
struck
you're
me.
looking at it at just face value, and you're sitting through this tedious dialogue that's super poorly written, watching these great actors struggle through this bullshit. Like, everything just fucking falls apart.
Yeah. Watching it, I even when I saw it the first time, it was years after it came out, so I knew the spoiler. And I'm watching it this time. I'm really curious what it was like to watch it without knowing the twist, because like.
Oh, it was awful.
With the twist, it's really unbearable. Because, like, within the first 5 minutes, you know the twist. If you know the twist, you're just like, oh, this is like a bunch of fucking nerds that decided they wanted to go just do their LARPing session forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Which,
you fucking dorks. Like, what's wrong with you?
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing. That's what it's like. I can empathize with the characters that they are, because it would be awesome to just shut the fuck off. And the older you get, the truer this becomes. Like, it would be awesome to just fuck off society and just like do something pure and wholesome and decent without all this bullshit. And that does appeal to a specific demographic of people, for sure. But I can empathize with that, man. Like, I can get why they would want to do this thing. Like, cut out all the human debauchery and butchery that is the fucking experience that we're born into. Like, I get that. But knowing what it is, like, it's the most unnatural presentation of these people doing it ever.
Yeah.
You know, like, nothing And also, it's just super easy to start poking holes because, like, all right, so you got 7 people. They're gonna go out here and start families. That tracks. Okay, you can control, a couple generations of offspring if you have exactly 7 people. But there's like 100 people in this village, so there's like 20 or 30 people that are 40. Where'd they come from?
Yeah,
you drug them in their fucking sleep.
They were all in on it. They
have to be.
Yeah, I think you just have to jump to the conclusion that they got other adults. But like, still, how long is that sustainable?
No, and that's the thing. It can't be perfectly sustainable. It was a nice idea, and that's the thing. His writing couldn't really hold this thing together because it's a big thing he was trying to write. He had like a good idea that if handed to somebody else could have maybe been better executed. But he sure as shit was out of his depth.
No, and we poked enough holes in the writing, but like the thing that I remembered from like, the 10 plus years prior, and actually it's probably closer to 20.
Yeah.
It was like since I had seen it, but like, is I remembered the whole, like, so the monsters, they refer to them in the movie only as those we don't speak of.
Yeah.
Which is just so atrocious because they speak about them constantly,
right?
Like constantly. So it's those we speak of all the time, but never name.
Those we do not refer to by name.
Yeah, those that M. Night did not take the time to name in his script because he was too cool for that, I guess. So
they also
I did like when we were watching the movie, we actually had to pause because. When he does the big reveal to his blind,
which is so stupid.
Blind daughter.
Poke all kinds of holes.
They're having a little like daughter father conversation as they're walking, and she's blind, and he's like, "So, do you know where you're at?" And she's like, "Yes, we're next to the small shed that we never use." And I'm just like,
I think it's literally like
lost my shit.
The shed we must not enter.
Like Reese had to pause the movie, and honestly, like, because I could not stop laughing at that, like, just how bad that actually was.
We've skipped over what like the driving plot thing is here. Actually, so Joaquin Phoenix's character ends up getting stabbed by this slow, maybe mentally handicapped kid.
We'll call him a psycho. It's Adrian Brody.
I mean, he has some degree of a mental condition. Like,
he's very obviously meant to have some
handicapped
mental condition.
Yes.
They never actually show him to be slow-witted. Or the only thing that he gets really excited whenever the monsters or anything like death related appears. Like, he gets really excited whenever something like that is portrayed is like evil is happening. So that's really the only thing that would make him. So I think that, like, it's one of those things where he's supposed to be meant to, like, you're supposed to feel like he's mentally handicapped, but really it's just in this village that they've built to get away from, that kind of, like, violence. It's just he is a violent kind of psycho that is in their midst.
Well, I do think that he's handicapped.
Which maybe there's a message.
Because there's a huge
handicapped people are dangerous. That's the message.
But I think mechanically in the story, it's that you can't truly escape human violence. But so the main troop.
If there's a message, it's that.
The main kids, and that is the message. The main kids are Joaquin Phoenix, blind girl, I can't remember.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Okay.
She's got 3 names.
And then Adrian Brody plays the handicapped kid, and they're kind of a troop. And Adrian Brody ends up being like you. After a certain point, you know that Adrian Brody was also in love with this girl that is in love with Joaquin Phoenix, that he reveals painfully in dialogue that he is also in love with. And so after this revelation of love...
It's like probably the worst part of the movie.
After this revelation in love, Adrian Brody stabs Joaquin Phoenix. And actually there's somebody else sick too. They never actually show the other person. Because the movie starts with Joaquin Phoenix like, I want to go get medicine for this person.
Oh, I thought the idea was... it's Brendan Gleeson's son died,
Right.
and then he wants to go get something, so it doesn't happen again.
Okay.
So they have it like in
Sure.
hand.
Yeah.
I honestly already forgot that Brendan Gleeson was like that's how wasted he was in this movie.
All right. So anyway, Joaquin Phoenix gets stabbed by Adrian Brody. It being 19th century times, they don't have penicillin yet, and so then
So stupid.
the blind girl wants to go to the villages because they have presently, like, they know that there are villages.
The towns.
The towns.
That was the other thing they kept doing, was like pluralizing things to make it sound like more mysterious or something. Like,
Right.
I need to go to the towns
Well,
to
it's
get
just
the
like-
medicines.
so
Was
the
literally
thing
a
is-
line
Yeah.
in the movie.
For that time period,
No match for my magics.
for that time period, like, things were like way more isolated, right? Like in the 1840s,
Yeah.
going to town was not an easy task.
No, yeah.
It could take days or a week to go to the next town. So, like,
Yeah. Turns out that wasn't the case here. It's just right over there.
obviously,
Just-
but that's fine as a mechanic in the storytelling because, like, that is the case for that time period. And in a town, some people might not ever give a shit about leaving the town if the town has everything they need in the town. Whatever. So the blind girl wants to go get the shit. So that's the driving thing that leads to the reveal.
Which I just have to say, of everyone in the village, she's probably the last person I would send.
Well, no, that's what's annoying, right?
Because you see the logic of her dad is like,
She's more capable.
we'll
than
get away
any
with
of
it because
us.
she's blind.
Well,
and can't see
yeah,
anything.
that's the thing that's super stupid, right?
Okay, but
he
think about it
knows.
for 1 second.
Well, no, like, it actually
She'd
tracks.
like fall in a hole immediately. She's the
No,
most
no.
capable of any of us, and you see her and she falls in a hole like immediately.
So the thing is, that tracks to a degree because the characters that run the town know there is no danger. They know that there's no danger. It's a fucking nature preserve.
Yeah.
All she's gonna do is walk, hit a wall, and then find somebody and get penicillin. Like, so the fact that the blind girl
they probably
wants to go get your
they're-
penicillin.
These are like bunker mentality people. They probably think she's gonna get murdered. She's never coming back.
They know that they know what the situation is. He's got a gift horse looking in the mouth. Or he's looking a gift horse in the mouth to have this blind girl like, I can go get the penicillin. Like, perfect. You can go get the penicillin because all you have to do is walk through the woods. She's already like, the character has shown her proficiency as a blind person to know locations and everything and like be able to track shit or like move through situations. So like, it's perfect for him. And then he reveals everything. The character has zero reason to reveal anything.
Yeah.
Anything. She's blind.
Yeah.
She has no fucking clue. She would not know anything.
Yeah.
At all.
And it doesn't
know?
affect her journey anyway because she's still terrified.
No, exactly. And so he spoils the fucking twist of the movie with 20, 30 minutes left of the movie to go.
Yeah.
And the spoiling of the twist makes the last 20, 30 minutes make literally no fucking sense and doesn't track at all.
Yeah.
It's fucking painful. And doesn't make any sense on another level because through the illustration of like how much control he has over the populace, he could have just gone and got the goddamn penicillin. That's what's so stupid. He could have just went
so
and got
much
it.
to this movie
He could have
that
just went and got it.
It's not a great adventure unless you're blind. It's
Yeah.
It's just literally walking over there. Like you like just follow the sun if you don't know which way north is.
all you
know.
have to look. Yeah, we made a treaty with those we do not speak of that the eldest of the
He could
village
say
can
anything.
pass
So
through
the-
unharmed.
the proof
Boom,
of that,
there you
when-
go.
There's
when
magic
he's-
rocks too.
When he sends the blind girl in, he's got two people to act as her guard, which she knows she doesn't need.
Yeah.
She knows that.
I mean, she probably does because she is blind. She didn't fall into a hole.
She falls
immediately.
into a hole. Like that
Yeah, but she
immediately.
she gets herself though. Like
Yeah.
she catches
She got
herself.
out of it.
Yeah, she did. Better than the other guy. Like she actually she traversed the journey just fine, right? All right, but the guys that they sent with her, who are like deathly afraid of the woods because of all this conditioning, because of this mythos of this fucking crazy thing in the woods, he gets these guys to go with her because he gives them magic rocks that will make them safe, and they believe it. If you have created a fucking little tiny micro society and you've gotten these people brain fucked enough that they think magic rocks will make them safe, you could do whatever you want. You could have just went and got the shit and came back and made whatever story you wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
He just
fucking retarded.
he really
So stupid.
just forces you to pick and choose where you apply logic to his story.
Yeah, it's
Because sometimes
it's
like
lazy as shit.
he feels like, oh, there's rules to this world, and then he just fucking makes up whatever he wants, and then it makes no sense. Even his rules, it's like, this is why it almost makes me mad that he still makes movies, because like he hasn't made a good movie in over 2 decades.
I don't even know what the last like good movie. Like I know I watched spoiler alert, I watched the movie Split, and have you seen that one, Reese?
I did, and I was unimpressed.
Yeah, the twist was that it's a sequel to Unbreakable.
Yeah,
that's the twist. You find out at the end, this was just a sequel.
Somebody, that was the big thing, is people were so excited about the twist, and I pushed play. I was like, I bet it's going to be connected to one of those other movies. And then in 30 minutes, I was like, I bet it's going to be connected to Unbreakable.
Really? I had no idea.
Oh, well, just like that was all I could think, right? It was people were saying there's a twist.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't read shit before
and then Glass came out, and Glass was dumb.
I didn't watch it.
And then Old came out, and Old is horrendous.
That Old was fine.
Every time one of his movies comes out.
Did he do Devil, the one that was like in the elevator? Was that him as well? Yeah. I think I did see that one.
Old was fine.
He just... Every time one of his movies comes out, it's like everyone goes like, "Oh no, this time he pulled it off. This time it's good."
I think
and
somebody
then I watch
should
it
have
and
pulled his
it's
card.
bad. And then the next movie is like, "No, this time he really pulled it off."
Yeah.
They should just pull his Writers Guild card. If somebody else writes a creepy movie and they get him to direct it, I think that you're probably okay.
He might be somewhere. I don't know if he's ever
directed. I
directed.
don't think he should be allowed to write.
For me, that I'll say I will agree with that. I think that I like his directing. I like what he does with the film, but I agree that he is not the best writer.
Is it special though? Like is it like?
I think he has a certain atmosphere. I think
he does, and he does pull off interesting, like unique performances.
Yeah. So what should happen is he has an idea, and he gives that idea to someone else.
Yes.
Because he has good ideas.
Right.
He can't pull them off.
Right.
So he
needs a co-writer at the very least.
So write the shit.
I was like most people, I was blown away the first time I saw The Sixth Sense in the theater.
Yeah.
And the thing that grabbed me was that he really got the most out of Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
You know, this is like a heady performance by Bruce Willis. This isn't just get Bruce Willis to be in a Bruce Willis movie. Like this it was actually a really good performance. It's like he really got the most out of him. And like then you watch this piece of shit and just like he's got all these stuff. He's got a million Bruce Willises and he can't get anything out of them. It's just...
Now I like I said, my mind was changed. This movie is a pretty indefensible piece of shit. I love the idea. I think he has good ideas. I think he just shouldn't be the guy behind the wheel after he has an idea. He should hand it off to somebody else. The same way like fucking Rob Zombie, man. That motherfucker shouldn't write anything. He is fucking terrible. You know? His directing is probably fine. Like, he has a certain, like, vibe, and, like, it's unique in its
The worst part of his movies is his wife is a terrible actress.
The worst part of his movies is his wife that's a terrible actress delivering his terrible fucking life. Rob Zombie can't write shit. He's fucking awful.
The thing I was...
and making weak homages to horror shit that's been done a million times. Like, he's fucking terrible. I like the guy. I think he's interesting.
As an artist, he's
interesting. Yeah. Like, really, you're gonna go watch a Rob Zombie movie? Just listen to a music video or watch a music video. Yeah. The same fucking thing. Yeah. Like, pretty much it. But like, yeah, like just understand where your weaknesses are and find people to help you. Like, M. Night Shyamalan shouldn't write most of this shit.
No.
You know, like,
but
I think he has something to offer in his ideas. Yeah. But it's
on the Rob Zombie plane. I was always the thing that like I know of him that like he's really big into like the really old school monster movies and the fact that being into stuff like that and like never actually like you have like an opportunity like a platform here to where you can actually make like modern day versions of that or attempt to and like you just like no we'll just do slasher films
he could and they would be defensible because his most defensible movies are the remakes of other movies and the rest of the shit is just fucking painful. That stupid 31 movie or 33 what the fuck ever with a Nazi midget, like Nazi midget, man, a Nazi fucking midget, really? Are you fucking 12, Rob Zombie? Are you fucking 12 and high as fuck? Like, who signs off on this shit, man? Jesus Christ. He does, because he has all the money.
Also, I was thinking about this just like earlier tonight. Was there literally any reason that they demonized like color, like especially red? Was there a purpose to that?
Yeah, it's a psychological trigger. It's one more element to keep people afraid of because it was everywhere in the forest.
Yeah,
and they demonize it to make sure people
stay away.
So
okay.
Like the mechanisms that were illustrated in the psychological conditioning in the story track really well.
Yeah,
that's the thing that's like defensible about the idea. The story is defensible.
I remember when the movie came out, and I totally
just fear. It's just psychological shit.
You know, it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so you see like the trailer and stuff, and they did a good job of like not trying to give you too much because it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and there's going to be a reveal, a twist at some point. Yeah. They don't want to give it away. And so, like, I remember being like really intrigued by the trailer because it was just like, whoa, it's like his take on Little Red Riding Hood. It's kind of like what I got from the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then watching the movie, the first 30 minutes kind of feels like his take on Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being like a poor take on Little Yellow Riding Hood, who's blind.
It's a better title.
And falls in a hole.
Little Blind Riding Hood.
The reveal, like the first watch, the reveal is kind of what ruined it for me because it's like the idea of these like creatures that they don't speak of.
Well, that's the thing. He fucked his own reveal. If he wouldn't have done that.
Like, let's do here's the twist for this movie. Let's do the twist halfway through.
The reveal.
And then make the audience suffer through the rest of the movie.
The reveal should have been when Adrian Brody fell in the hole and died. The viewers get to see that it's Adrian Brody, but she doesn't. Because that's the thing that's stupid. He reveals to her that there are no monsters. And then Adrian Brody attacks her, and she's still acting like it's a monster. She knows it's not a goddamn monster. So she should be like, who are you?
Yeah.
It's fucking incomprehensible why he would write it that way. It makes no sense. Because he could have just kept going. There's no reason for the dad to reveal any of this to the daughter.
There's a couple also accidentally hilarious moments too. Like when they're like, she killed a monster. Adrian Brody's parents just start weeping.
Yeah, she sure did.
I mean, obviously the best was the small shed that we never used. It's just like, if you've got these creatures, these those that we don't speak of, but really you're behind the whole thing. Where would you keep all the costumes and stuff? Of course, you would keep it in the shed that we never use.
Well, and they reveal too that they have them throughout the village, which they would have to because it would take the whole team organizing to make this whole thing work anyway.
I will say this movie did get the most genuine laugh out of me of any movie that we've watched in the history of this podcast.
So the other thing is,
I literally I'm like, okay, I'm good. We can we paused and I'm like, I'm good. We can continue. I swear for the next 5 minutes, I was just over here I couldn't get over it. I had a hard time coming back from that one.
Especially with all this forced eloquence in the language of the dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just over here thinking the whole time.
You say the shed that
no
we don't use very often.
Yes. The one right
we never use.
You mean the one right in front of the huts we put our poop in? Yes. Across from the market where we buy our bread at.
Ye old huts that we deposit our food in. Yeah. So piece of shit. A cool idea, all right? A cool idea.
Yeah, I'm not giving it partial credit for a cool idea.
He gets in his own way.
These things some degree. I just gave Uncut fucking pretentious ass gems some credit. I'll give all these movies some credit, but I think they all suck.
All right.
By the way, tagline for that movie, one of the more generic taglines we've heard is, "There is no turning back."
Yeah, it's pretty lazy.
Honestly, that almost works for any of the three of these movies.
It works for any
because
movie
it's that
ever.
generic.
Ever in the history of movies, there's not a movie that doesn't work for.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's things are about to get interesting.
It is. Isolation
for the movie right there.
Fuck that movie.
Oh yeah, fuck that movie.
Fuck that movie, indeed.
I think it builds so much goodwill in like the first 10 minutes, and then it just like
it falls apart.
It tries to ride that 10 minutes for the rest of the movie.
And again, the only way it works if you don't know what's happening and you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
It's not watchable if either of those things are checked. Like it's just not.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the final installment of our little trilogy here. What a trilogy, too. These movies really went well together.
Yeah.
And that will be Barbie.
Uncut Barbies in the Village.
Yeah. That'd be it's probably,
Uncut Barbie.
That's probably the best movie that could be made out of this. Anyway.
Uncircumcised.
So, Reese loved it. I didn't. I wouldn't say that I hated the movie. I just, my whole thing with the movie is, like, I thought that there's, like, a lot of hype that came with it, and like I thought it was like undeserved hype. Like I didn't think that it was a bad movie, but I didn't think that it was a good movie. Has been my consistent take on it. And John hadn't seen this one, so Reese, get us rolling on Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie is actually still in theaters in a few places if you want to catch there. Always worthwhile. Otherwise, it's available to buy everywhere. Just came out on Blu-ray and DVD this week.
No renting.
No rent. Well, it should be available to rent now, but it looks like it's $25. So
to rent.
Why?
You're not doing that. No one's doing that. I was gonna rewatch it the other day.
You can go to the fucking theater and get popcorn and large sodas for that.
Yeah. Plot synopsis, according to Letterboxd, is Barbie and Ken are having the time of their lives in the colorful and seemingly perfect world of Barbie Land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living among humans.
Kind of.
Tagline is, she's everything, he's just Ken.
Yeah, so that's what my problem with that synopsis is, like, Ken's not having the time of his life.
Yeah.
At all. That doesn't even track.
He is when Barbie notices him. That's the
he's got the same issues of everyone in Barbie Land, where he can't recognize what's unhappy about his life.
So he's got the same issues as every person everywhere.
All at once.
Yeah.
Throw it back to episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. This upsets
no earpieces.
Everything Everywhere All at Once as the newest movie we've covered.
It does, yeah.
It does win that award.
Yeah. Newest movie.
All right.
So yeah. I just this feels like it's going to be a fruitless conversation.
Well, I don't want to. So Reese is in the precarious situation here, where like he actually is kind of defending 2 movies.
Well, I mean, we're past Uncut Gems.
Yeah, we are, but like, I mean, here you are, and like, I don't want to put you in that position. So we know what it is, right? John and I didn't really love the movie.
Yeah.
I don't hate the movie. I just don't love the movie, and you obviously really like the movie. So I guess let's just start with what did you take from it, or what did you really enjoy about it?
I think, like, first and foremost, just surface level, it's like one of the funnier movies we've gotten in theaters in a long time.
If it suits your palate, it's a very fun movie.
Yeah. And like, I'm not saying it's not like, it's a certain kind of comedy. I'm not saying it's a higher level of comedy than like Wayne's World, you know, but it's a hilarious, like, quotable, fun movie.
Can't believe we went with Wayne's World for the
I'm just, I don't know, you know, like, I'm just saying, like, it's not
like Wayne's World. I just didn't expect you to go there.
If you say like one of the funniest movies ever, you might jump to The Big Lebowski or another
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, you know, like big famous comedies. And I think, you know, it's not, it might be more of the more objective or subjective genre of comedies. The Wayne's Worlds, even like, you know, some of Seth Rogen stuff, you know.
No, it's aimed at a particular audience, and if you fit that audience, it's super fun and entertaining. If it fits your palate, it's super fun.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's very vibrant. It is funny, yeah.
So, you know, like, that really gets my foot in the door.
It's funny you said Seth Rogen, because I think that John did make a You at some point made a comparison between Barbie and Sausage Party.
I did. I think they are in like concept similar films.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was funny that you mentioned that. So anyway,
well, I guess actually what got my foot in the door was the creative team and the cast. Because I've been a Greta Gerwig fan since she made Lady Bird, her first directed movie. But I mean, I've liked her as an actor even longer than that. But I just think, I don't know, she's kind of 3 for 3 on very well done movies that she's done now. Lady Bird, the Little Women from just a few years ago, and then this, and then I've loved Ryan Gosling like the entire internet has since like
I love the fucking
Drive.
Like, I just want to start there. Like
Ryan Gosling's
no
awesome.
Disrespect to Ryan, I fucking love Ryan. I think Ryan Gosling is like one of the most underappreciated actors of our generation.
Yeah.
He's fucking solid.
And so like basically as soon as it was announced, it was Greta Gerwig, Ryan Gosling, and Margot Robbie. I was on board, from day one. So like, I definitely had that going for me over both of you guys. And then I was kind of trying to tell everyone, I thought it was going to get into more interesting topics than most people were giving it credit for.
Right.
And then it came out and I watched it and I kind of felt exactly that. I just felt like I don't know. Have you seen another AAA blockbuster that mentioned patriarchy, like the word patriarchy this much? You're not seeing Marvel movies dive into.
It's not about horses.
Interesting topics,
We haven't seen something touching on patriarchy, but this movie is very well produced, right? It's very nice. It's a great cast.
I would like to say here the positives, right? Before we just because I know that you're about to get a little negative with some thoughts.
I'm not gonna get negative. I'm gonna.
Well, you're not gonna say positive things, so like I want to say some positive things before we say some negative things. The aesthetic of the movie is phenomenal.
It's super well produced.
As far as like the Barbie houses and
they kill it on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And granted, it is Mattel making the movie, and they're kind of like, I mean, maybe it's the most successful commercial of all time.
That's I'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah,
I'll get back to that in a second.
Aesthetically, it's believable, right? The Barbie world is like kids playing. It's the exact shit that you remember your sister having or
right on the fucking nose.
Cousin or whatever.
The presentation is right on the nose. It's super fun. The homages to all the old Barbie stuff. If you were a Barbie nerd, like this movie would just probably tickle you fucking pink.
Yeah.
With all the throwbacks to the old stuff and having every little piece of Barbie there. Like they do a great job with all that. The performances are also stellar. They have a great cast.
Yeah.
Robbie,
Awesome
really
cast.
Good. Ryan Gosling's really good. One of my favorite takeaways from the movie is I didn't know Ryan Gosling was a badass vocalist, and apparently he's a badass vocalist.
Yeah,
you haven't watched enough Ryan Gosling shit. We're gonna fix that.
Yeah, I know. Like
you gotta watch La La Land. I think you'd like La La Land.
I was like, damn, this guy's good.
La La Land.
I was impressed as shit.
Blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, I love La La Land.
No, it's got plenty of positives, man. It's a very fun movie. Again, if you like fun pop art, it's a very well produced piece of just fun pop art. It definitely is, There's definitely positives,
Yeah, I thought that I wasn't really the target audience for this.
No,
clearly.
it is a very specifically targeted film, for sure.
See, I think it's like really broad. It's going for because it's got so many different plot points. That's like
it does, but
you got me really excited to go watch this movie, right? Like, so that's
which is also weird because like I hadn't seen it yet, so it's kind of odd that you're making it feel like I overhyped it.
You saw it before I did, though, and you were very positive about it. I'm like, okay,
yeah, that's true.
So by the time I saw it, I was like really excited, and also I had seen the reviews, and the reviews were pretty overwhelmingly positive, and so I'm thinking, okay, that you're right, and like so I was expecting to love it, and like it was just like if. Like you've seen the reverse effect. If you go into a movie with no expectations, and it's just kind of good,
or
it feels amazing.
If everyone's talking about how shitty a movie is, and you go watch it, it's like, well, wait a minute, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like it just kind of had the opposite effect. Like I was hyped up for it to be good, and to me, it was just very like run of the mill. Like I don't know. I really felt like it was a Will Ferrell comedy. Like, and I know that it's like not a Will Ferrell movie. Like he's not the driving force, but like. if I had been watching like Ricky Bobby 6 or whatever, I don't know, it kind of had that same feel to me, or one of the Austin Powers movies, or just like the Will Ferrell brand of humor that's like kind of over the top and like cheesy. The movie was intentionally cheesy. Like you can't fault it for that.
It's a piece of pop art.
It had to be
fun.
It had to be. That's the only way it works. But like in my mind, I knew it was gonna be that because it's fucking Barbie. Of course it's gonna be cheesy. But like I just thought that there was gonna be like some kind of message or some kind of
there's message.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't see a message.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody saw a fucking message.
Yeah.
You asked 20 people.
It's overt.
Here's my rant, and I'll give you guys the floor. I will be done talking about Barbie after. So if you asked 20 people that saw Barbie, if there was a message, they would all say yes. Here's the message, and you would get 20 fucking different messages for what they got out of that.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. So because it's what they did is they took a concept, which is basically sexual inclusivity, like in like a in any kind of a world, and they kind of show all sides of it and they jumble it up, and it's like here's one side of it, and then we'll do the reverse of it, but they never are actually pushing a certain agenda with it.
Oh, I disagree.
But there's enough there for everyone to get what they want out of it.
You're gonna hear it, man.
So John really got a strong message from it. I'm sure that Reese has a message from it that's completely different from John's. And my whole thought of watching the movie is I don't think there actually is a message. I think that there's supposed to be a concept that people can draw a message that just is just whatever their own viewpoint is.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's just a commercial. Like they are just trying to sell tickets. And I'll tell you what, if they did not do that, if like to me, that's the genius of the movie. Like the best thing they did was make it to where people believed that there was an actual message that is something I believe in. Because you felt pretty strongly about it, and you probably felt pretty strong about the message as well. And that's what I heard about it going into it, was that the message is crazy. And there's all this hoopla, but like people are like fighting about the message, and like it portrays men the wrong way. It portrays women the wrong way, and
it doesn't portray women the wrong way at all.
Again, it's all in the eye of the beholder. But that's the thing, is they were able to make a movie that took a concept, an idea, and I don't think that there was a message. Produced. I don't think there was a message. I think that there was like, here's a thing where your own particular thoughts and your own particular preferences and ideas and your leanings are going to give you your own message from this idea. It's like a blank canvas for this yeah. That was my whole thing. I think there is no message. I think that if you got a message from it, that is your own thing.
Well, so
from your own shit.
Here's my take on the message. The real message. There's several layers of surface messages. The actual message is buy Barbie. That's the message.
Oh, okay.
That's the actual message.
Okay.
It is shameless corporate profiteering.
I didn't know we were going there. I feel like it's only a commercial for Barbie in the way that Avengers is a commercial for action figures and Star Wars is a commercial for action figures. Like, I don't, because like, how did I want to go out and buy a Barbie?
No, it's not buying like I'm not saying the physical, just like buy a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
It's buy a new idea of Barbie. It's rebranding.
Yeah.
What this movie is rebranding Barbie with the current social narrative as the sales pitch. Like it's actually, because when you really look at the same way that The Village falls apart when you start looking at the writing, I think this movie falls apart when you start looking at the message. Like, it's well produced. It's fun. It's bright. It's colorful. Great acting. Great cast. It's a very well produced piece of pop art, right? But when you look at what is actually happening, there's not anything super. There's a positive thing attached to the film at the end that should have been the entire nature of the film. because I was disappointed because I heard people talk about like random guys like, oh yeah, it's fucking piece of shit. It's like fucking man-hating nonsense. I'm like, yeah, you're probably just a fucking idiot, whatever.
Yeah.
You're probably just reading too much into this. And I watched it, and like, I was so disappointed in how heavy-handed it was on that front because, I mean, it is.
Meaning that you did think it had like a clear like man-hating message to it?
If you were to ask, if this movie was a person, and you asked this movie if women or men are superior, do you think this movie would have an answer to that?
Absolutely.
I don't get that at all.
They cover their base. They cover their base with the Ken. They cover their base with Ken feels insecure and Barbie doesn't pay enough attention to Ken and he suffers in his own way in Barbie Land. You know, like
they literally go. They say in like the first. Sorry, I thought I heard a voice.
Yeah.
They literally say in like the first 10 minutes, it's like this is the inverse of the real world.
Right. Right.
Which,
so my issue. All right. So my issue is one. They do paint a very shitty picture of men. So the whole thing is about male patriarchy and how male patriarchy runs the world. And that's true. Absolutely true. I fucking hate the white man. I do. But the thing is, the white man, the actual, in quotation, the white man, is the rich white man that purports, sustains, establishes, that runs the white patriarchy of men that run the world, the Western world. Because otherwise, it's like Asian people. I mean, there's two hemispheres to the world now. It's the West and it's the East. It's China and it's fucking Europe and America. That's the world we live in, right?
We get the geography.
Yeah. So, like, that's the enemy, right? And in this film, for everyone that's a male, the first scene that Barbie hits the real world, every single male in that scene on a street level is just a fucking dirty creep. Every single one in that scene. Every one of them. It's not even like exaggerated. That's like they all are just like basically jerking off to Barbie roller skating down the road. Like they may as well have their dicks out, you know? And then otherwise it's Ken as just this fucking vapid dipshit, useless dumbass that's just there for Barbie's approval. Those are the two, there's three representations of men in this film. It's those two. And then the Mattel CEOs and board, right? Mattel
Just a bunch of fucking idiots. Yeah.
A bunch of goofy idiots. Yeah. But they're the only ones that have any degree of a positive thing attached to them. And the thing is, when we're talking about white male patriarchy that runs the world, CEOs of corporations are the white male patriarchy.
Do you think the movie is trying to paint the CEOs as the heroes?
They're not painting them as the heroes. They don't give a fuck about them.
I think this movie's not trying to do anything.
What the movie is
doing, this movie is trying to get you to have this conversation.
The movie is rebranding Barbie. The resolution of the movie, right? This movie is just what my issue with this film is. It's super divisive. It doesn't bring anyone together. It's not about equality. It's not about unity. Like, it just focuses. It's Mattel. In my mind, it's Mattel using a current social dynamic to be able to rebrand a product. Because outside of this, whenever has Barbie been a feminist paragon? Never. You know?
Well, they explain that, though. Like, that's part of the movie. Is that, like, what?
Yeah, you're trusting the words of a corporation, though. Corporations don't do things because they care about people.
They also show that. They show literally...
I know! Exactly! That's why it's so stupid! Because at the very end of the movie, the only real-world takeaway for this, the only effect this story and these characters have on the real world is the mom character, oh, well, can I have a regular Barbie? And Will Smith is like, Will Ferrell is like, that's fucking stupid. But then his buddy back here is like, we'll make a bunch of money. Sold.
Yeah, I think that's the message of that's like the movie. That's Greta Gerwig going like, look, this is how I made my movie.
Yeah,
they realize this movie can make money.
But it doesn't do anything. Barbie doesn't affect the real world at all. She runs from the real world. She doesn't make any actual change in the real world. The only change that happens to the real world is profiting this corporation. The fucking in Barbie Land, after they dismiss Ken's dumbass attempt at patriarchy, which is just him getting served drinks and able to play football, essentially. They have this moment of like, oh, let's make Barbie Land back to where it was. And President Barbie's like, oh no, we can make it something new and better. And I'm like, okay, so like, guys are gonna like make it like a utopia, right? Because you have a blank slate that you could just make utopia. You could just make everybody equal and everything be great.
They literally lampshade that though. They say, and then Barbie world was as equal as the real world. Like it's
know.
But
I know. That's
would you
point.
rather the message of the movie be, look, our Barbies saved the world, and if you buy our new Barbie, you change the world.
There's no real message to this movie.
I would say that if they're gonna, so that's the thing. That's the frustrating thing about this movie is that I would love for this thing to be able to just stand alone as a piece of pop art. It's fun. If I could just watch and have fun.
I think you can watch it that way. I don't think you need to read into it.
I think the shit's just too heavy-handed. I don't think that you can because it's so aggressive. I mean, they basically take in several scenes, they pull shit. They put dialogue in a scene that could have just been ripped from some like feminist zine out of a college campus and just slam it into the fucking dialogue. They do that like 2 or 3 times in the movie. Like they ride that horse so hard that I don't think that you can do that. It's like they use, and it's annoying because they're using feminism as a sales pitch to sell a product. That's offensive as fuck. For anybody that gives a fuck about anything, that wants the world to be a better place, that's offensive as fuck. That's not okay. To me, I hate it. I think it's stupid. I wanted it to be a conversation about equality, a conversation about making things better. They literally, I know, they lampshaded it exactly like, oh yeah, we're going to do to you what you did to us. That's not healthy. That's not positive. That's not social change. Like if you're gonna ride on this fucking, if you're gonna ride this horse, if you're gonna stand on this pedestal of like social justice, like you have to actually maintain a certain set of principles. And like just giving what you got is not that. That's not principle. That's not ethical. That's just bullshit.
I think you're trying to elevate though the Barbies to like perfect, and that's the whole point, is they're not perfect. No one like
while they are fucking supermodels.
Supermodels aren't perfect.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like it's a bullshit pretense because Barbies are not. Barbie again has not been that. It's not. You have to trust in a corporation giving a fuck about the people it's selling its product to think any of this tracks.
No, and I don't think
they didn't make Barbies. They didn't make President Barbie or Space Barbie or fucking any of these Barbies because it's going to elevate little girls in the world. They made those things to make money.
I don't think there's such a thing as a corporation that cares about people.
This whole thing is just an attempt to make money, and they're using ideologies to make money, and that's my beef with the film. Is that
that's just every like franchise though, right? Like, you know,
it's not good.
The Shield turns out to be evil and run by aliens and Nazis in the Marvel movies, right?
Right.
Would that movie be like in the 80s? Would we have wanted to see a franchise where the plot was America's evil? I don't think we would have seen that in the 80s, right? It's all about what people want to see right now.
It was Russia
exactly.
is evil.
It's just playing to the crowd.
Yeah. And so like
to the crowd, and that's the thing.
And maybe that's the point. Like
it is the point.
My whole point is I don't think the movie has a message. I think that they cleverly devised a format to where it would hit on a topic
to make money. That's the message.
And like, I feel like there's an outcry from various groups of people, and they all see the message differently. And I just don't believe that there is one. I don't believe that there was intended to be one.
That's the thing. It's not truly a feminist message.
Honestly,
it's using that message to make a sale.
Once realizing that, I actually respect the movie more. Like, I feel like that's an interesting idea. So like it's genius because they made. I don't think it's a very good movie, but I feel like they made it a successful. Movie. I feel like they made it a successful.
There's
movie
nothing wrong with a movie as a movie. Like
devising
this
whole.
It's entertaining. It's well cast. It sounds good. It looks good.
It's a little goofy. Like
it's goofy, but
it's
that's
like
just palette. Like people. That's not for a guy that doesn't like. It's stuff. It's for people that like kind of goofy fun stuff.
It definitely wasn't a movie. I think it's kind of a family film. Like, and I don't really love family films. But anyway,
which is weird because I think a lot of people have also criticized it for not being a kids movie.
So
that's the thing. It feels like a family movie, does it not? Like
I think
in presentation it does.
It does whole, more jokes about genitals and gynecology than your average family movie. But
I don't,
it's like one line at the end.
I don't think in actuality it's a family movie, or it's not like, I don't know. It's for a very specific audience. It's for people that already agree with the message that it's presenting, or people that can be affected by the message it's presenting. So, like, for people that aren't all in to what it's talking about, they're going to be alienated immediately. And I mean, like, it's I do think that there's a very present anti-man message, and, like, again, fair enough, but it's not creating engaging dialogue that's going to do anything for anybody. Like, it's not going to open anybody's eyes to the plight of modern women. It's not really showing modern women how to be or do anything to fix the problem. I mean, again, male patriarchy is the enemy, and the only positive males in the film are illustrations of male patriarchy. So it just doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense, man. And, like, in this age where, like, we are coming out of, we're actually, like, people are being held accountable for their creepness. Like, men are being held accountable for the bad actions they've chosen and their bad choices and being bad people. Like, while this is happening, the operative message in my mind for young women should be, like, a more positive note other than just fuck the other half. Because that's the problem with our whole civilization and society, is that we're not actually, like, engaging in a real way to make anything better and make all of us equal and put us all on the same footing. And this film just doesn't do that either.
I didn't get the fuck the other half message.
I just don't get the idea that it's one-sided.
I probably didn't get whatever your message is either. I don't think there was one.
I thought it was very fucking heavy.
Final thoughts.
I just want to say my criticisms of the movie, because I don't think it's perfect by any means. Yeah. I definitely think it's overly complicated as far as subplots.
Yeah.
I think Will Ferrell should have been, like, in it for 10 minutes. Or
he kind of
5 minutes,
really.
But, like, he didn't need to come back for the end. Like, he should have been in it for the boardroom scene, and that's it.
Yeah,
he should have been, like, a plot point, not a storyline.
Well,
and then he really convolutes the ending when he comes in, and you're already feeling a bit like, and this ending, and this ending, and then he comes in. It's like, oh, okay, guys, let's wrap it up, you know. And then I also think, like, I know America Ferrera as the mom and the daughter are, like, the main story, kind of, but it also feels the clunkiest, and some of her interactions and stuff, and the whole thing of, like, I don't know, I'm kind of weird. I made normal Barbie. Is that something? It's like, that's not quirky, what are you on the internet in 2005? You know,
I do want to shout out an actor, Rhea Perlman. I haven't seen her in anything in a while.
A long time.
Yeah.
Weird Barbie.
Yeah, I know. No, that was like
Kate McKinnon was Weird Barbie. Rhea
Perlman was the chick from Cheers, who was like who played
the creator.
Shit, I didn't even recognize her. Yeah, I haven't seen her in ages.
Yeah, I know. I hadn't seen her anything forever, and, like, her playing, like, the creator of Barbie or whatever. I thought she was actually really good. She was the one genuine performance that I thought was really good.
Well, I mean,
having not seen her in anything,
I think
forever.
Barbie's performance was genuine. I think Ryan Gosling's performance. Margot Robbie had some very genuine performances.
Yeah, I do want to point out, I hate the whole, like, in order for this joke to work, we shouldn't have cast Margot Robbie. Like,
I know, that's what I'm talking about.
It had a very, like Ocean's 13 or whatever, where, like, the like, part of the scheme is that, like, you know what we should do? We should get our friend Tess to emulate Julia Roberts, because she looks just like Julia Roberts. And that's how we can, like, do our whole scheme. It's like, well, it's because she is Julia. And it's like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to, like, when you try to cross that universe.
Right.
I never really loved that in movies. I think it's trying to pander to the audience.
No, I wanted this movie to be about. I wanted it to be a story, an illustration of people being whatever they wanted, and, like, how to do that, the journey of that. And it wasn't that. They threw it in at the end, the very like just cherry on top. Like, oh yeah, Barbie, you can be whoever you want. Like the whole story should have been Barbie being whoever she wants, but like a lot of it's just reducing people to roles and types, and that's counterintuitive to what the premise is supposed to be. I don't know. It's fun. If you like fun movies, if you like the super pop aesthetic, it's be right up your alley. It's a lot of fun in that sense, but I don't.
It's basically just Legally Blonde, but they pretend that there's a message.
Again, I think the message is just buy this movie, watch this movie. I think, and
it worked. It's a pretty
Barbie,
successful message then.
Rebranding, yeah, it is. I mean, the fact that it's produced by Mattel, like, I don't know. It's.
Are we? Is there anything else, or are we ready to close the book on this horrific trilogy?
I could say some shit. You guys don't want to hear it, so.
All right. Fine. I feel like the horse is dead. So.
The horse is dead. If you like fun movies, Barbie's for you.
Yeah,
don't
like
read too much into it.
It's like I don't know. It's one of those. It's the type of comedy that I don't like love. I don't think it's like the smartest humor. I mean, whatever.
No,
the whole thing is made to be whatever you want it to be. So, take from it what you will. I just want to do real quick, and I think we should all do this. I'm going to force you all to do this. So, ranking these films in order, I'm going to go Uncut Gems number 1, Barbie number 2, and The Village number 3.
John?
Uncut Gems is at the bottom.
Okay,
so sure,
that's number 3.
I can't stand to watch that thing again.
So
it's too abrasive. I'd probably put Barbie at number 2.
Jesus Christ!
Not because like I hate the message. Like, not.
You think The Village is more watchable than?
I don't think any of. I don't want to watch any of these.
So to be fair,
I don't want to watch.
John is terrible at ranking things, and so like he couldn't get the concept of like I'm going to have everybody rank in this episode. He's like I can't do that. I don't want to watch any of them ever again. I'm like okay, you have to like gun to your head. You have to watch one of these movies right now. You get murdered. Right, and he's like. The Village. I'll watch The Village. I'm like, okay, so you can't choose The Village. You have to watch either Barbie. And so, like, we had to put a gun to his head to create these rankings. I'm going to
start at 0. Uncut Gems is -3.
Okay.
Barbie is -2.
Okay.
And The Village is -1.
All right. Yeah.
That's my rank.
Negative 1 stars for the win.
I don't want to watch any of them ever again.
The Village is obviously the worst. As far as which is the better movie, I'd say definitely Uncut Gems. But as far as like which one I enjoy more and more likely to rewatch, and I probably will rewatch it many times, is Barbie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably is the most rewatchable if it fits your.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Put on Uncut Gems for a fun Saturday night?
Oh hell no! Hell no, you're not.
I'm sorry to say
somebody is actually.
I am
probably.
most likely to rewatch Uncut Gems of these 3, and that's kind of the like, and I like sad bastard movies. I just do, and it is 100% a sad bastard movie.
There's nothing fun about it whatsoever.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I just think there's certain genres of movies, like In the Bedroom is like what, maybe a once every 10 years movie.
Oh, yeah.
Dogville's like a once every 20 years.
Probably once.
Dogville's just once. Yeah. There's a few that are just once.
But you're not going to watch
per lifetime.
I think Uncut Gems is like a once every 5 years. And Barbie's maybe every couple of years, Or
I mean, Barbie's
definitely a party movie.
No, it's a party movie. It's got a good, fun vibe. It's a good background aesthetic. It's a movie you can throw on. And Barbie is the most. I'll say that Barbie's probably the most like.
It's the most marketable.
Yeah, it's the most
marketed.
Yeah, exactly. That plays into my point. Whatever. But yeah, no, it's the most rewatchable for sure. It's just fun. It's background noise. It's pop. It's pop. It's a film iteration of the idea of pop. It's fun. Yeah. It's bright.
I sometimes view these like AAA blockbuster movies as like just the most movie, not the best, but the most, and what studios are willing to let happen. That's why. we like horror franchises, right? We like Evil Dead.
The Criterion Collection.
Yeah. Like while we all enjoy something, like original Evil Dead or even some It Follows or Barbarian.
I thought that movie sucked.
We also like
It Follows?
franchises because
Barbarian was kind of
because they like promise something, and part of what they promise is the studio is going to give a certain amount of budget to this, and Lady Bird probably was like $50 million.
Which one was that?
That's Saoirse Ronan. It's like takes place.
I actually just watched it for the first time a few months ago.
What was the setting?
Like early 2000s California.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty obscure. It's like I think
A24.
You could call it an independent. It is A24.
It's A24.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched it for the first time just a few months ago, and it's a much better movie. Like honestly,
it's fantastic.
Like Lady Bird is actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
So it's Greta Gerwig, right?
Yes, Greta Gerwig.
So
and Saoirse Ronan's the lead.
If you're interested in getting into Greta Gerwig stuff, definitely start with Lady Bird. It is a much superior movie to Barbie. And there's no fucking like.
I wouldn't.
Message.
I won't say that Barbie is a bad movie. It's a very well produced film. The acting is great. The sound is great. Again, if it fits.
The whole aesthetic of like things looking like kids playing to where like the car flips over and we've got this like graphic design like smoke cloud coming out of the exhaust, like it's just a little too much for me.
I think
that was the worst thing.
I appreciate how much they commit to that though, because like even in the dialogue and the jokes, like when Ken's like, "Can I spend the night?" And like, well, what would he do? And he's not like a wink. It's like I don't know. That's funny.
I will not say that Barbie is a bad movie.
Yeah.
I hate corporations. I think Barbie is just.
It is a little turnoff when you see that.
It's corporate profiteering. That's what I think. That's what I think that movie is. It's corporate profiteering using an ideology to make a sale, and that's why I principally am opposed to the film. It's a good movie.
Hasbro funded the Dungeons and Dragons movie. It was the first movie logo that pops up in front of Dungeons and Dragons. Hasbro.
They did, but they didn't use an ideology to sell it, though.
But I get really bothered when people are like, movies are so political now. It's
no.
Who is Indiana Jones fighting?
That's the thing that's frustrating is like I'm so exhausted. There's so much of exactly that. Like I had load of Shudder and I'll watch a film that has like a woman that like has been raped and takes vengeance on her abuser, and some asshole's like, oh, it's fucking woke ass bullshit. You're a fucking idiot. Shut up. It's about a person taking revenge upon the person that fucking traumatized them. Like, that's stupid. I hate that. I hate that idea. I hate that.
Spit on your grave. Classic.
It's dumb. That's not woke propaganda.
Banned in 48 countries.
Barbie is very like, dude. They went hard in the paint, man. They just did. They did.
I'm not saying Barbie isn't like. Doesn't getting into political topics. I just think the idea that movies are now more political than they've been before is really stupid.
I agree with you. They always have been, and art should have. I feel that if it's art, if you want to call something art, there is a message. It's not art if there's not a message. Otherwise, it's a product.
I don't think you can have good sci-fi without political messages.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so there's nothing wrong with art having a message. My problem with Barbie is that it's a corporation using a message to make a sale. That's my vibe that I got from it. That's what I didn't like, is that they grasp on to a thing that is growing. It's a growing narrative. It's a growing discussion in the population. It's all over everywhere, and they used it to rebrand the product and to sell the product. And that's why
I just don't have any. I'm not like extending any kind of olive branch to any corporation. I know that if there was a fucking civil war and the Republicans took over America and stated like women aren't allowed to vote, they'd come out with Barbie 2, where the message is, I don't know, guys, Barbie Land looks pretty nice. Maybe you should just shut up and, serve us beers.
Right.
Like, I know that's what they do. Right. They're just serving what people will buy right now, and that's what people will buy.
That's all any of it is that, and that's my issue with it. I'm just a super I'm a fucking ethical asshole, man. Like, when it comes to, if you present to me something with a message, I am going to be the most scrutinous I can of that message. And that's why I was really frustrated with this movie, because I wanted it to be more than that. I wanted it to be a good, equilateral, just egalitarian, everybody, let's make the world better message, and that's not at all what I got from it. And it really bummed me out, because I really wanted it to be that. I really wanted it to be that, because it could have been that. It could have been that. It could have been a whole movie of, like, let's make the world a better place. And shit. And even in that last scene.
My whole thought is, to some people, it probably was.
Yeah. For some people, it probably was. People that it's already, like, agree with the premise, that only want to think about one angle of things. But, like, if you're really talking about peace and equality, you have to think about all angles of things. That is what it is. So.
All right, so we have to put a bow on the grudge match triple feature. It ended up not being that much of a grudge match. I mean, like,
I would have said we had an obvious loser, but then
we did have an obvious.
Somebody.
The Village is the worst movie ever written. It's the worst script.
It's the worst.
It's the worst script I've ever.
It's the worst writing. Yeah. It is absolutely the worst writing of the three.
Yeah.
Hands down. It is the worst writing of the three.
But that's gonna do it for our first grudge match triple feature.
That was it.
We do our second triple feature. This will not be a grudge match. This is just gonna be good old fashioned holiday fun.
Yeah.
The next episode, we are gonna cram in somehow in the next 2 weeks. We're gonna watch 3 horror movies, and we're gonna choose those right now.
Yeah.
Right now. So. 3 horror movies, or Halloween-themed movies, I guess. Reese, you know what you're going with?
I'm probably going to do this. I feel like I wanted to do something a little less obvious or well-known, but then
Obvious
John said he hasn't seen it.
Okay.
So I feel like I really got to do Hereditary. John hasn't seen Hereditary.
You know what's funny? I have a short list of, there's like 8 movies on here, and I'm just like, this is the vibe. And Hereditary, dude.
Is it on there?
Here's my list. Number one movie on the list, Hereditary.
Number 2, Midsummer.
Yeah. On there.
That's fantastic.
Probably not going to choose that since you.
Hey, we could just do a Ari Aster triple feature.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, I've wanted to watch it. I just haven't got around to it yet. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, you're gonna like it.
To watch it.
Though I don't know, maybe it's a little too anti-man. I don't know.
Oh,
it's actually not. It's
I was actually thinking,
very anti-mom.
I was thinking,
well, that's another vibe of Barbie. It was pretty anti-mom until the very end. Like, maybe we shouldn't be so anti-mom. Let's wrap this up. Let's put this pin in here.
So I was thinking of choosing one of the Ari movies, and I had it like between those two, and I was actually going to choose Midsummer if it got around to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to choose either now.
Okay,
I chose
awesome.
Hereditary. So I was just thinking Midsummer seemed a little more Halloween-y to me. You know, like the vibe just kind of feels a little more like a
even though it takes place in the middle of summer. Yeah.
That
no, I understand. It definitely it was it was taking a lot more swings and risks on a horror movie. It really stood out as soon as the advertising started. Of it's a horror movie in the middle of the day. How often do you see that? You know?
Yeah. So John does this like annoying thing where like it's about to go to him where he now tells us which horror movie we will be watching in this trip. The problem is he just like bailed on the room. So now it's you and I talking about Hereditary longer than we should have to.
Yeah. Well, I'll just let you guys know that Hereditary.
You can probably rent or buy it.
How do you spell Hereditary?
Heredi.
There it is. Yeah. It is streaming on Max.
HBO Max. Everybody has that.
And it's available to buy and rent like normal.
If you don't have Max, you're not a person.
Get with
fucking
it.
Rube.
All right. So leg 1 will be Hereditary. John, what horror movie? I know you're a horror guy, so I'm sure you've got something spicy here.
So I'm going to do... I made a vow after Dogville to do just... I got all the like brutality out of my system for at least a while, because that movie is just like an awful thing to watch. Yeah. So I want to do something fun, and I could do, some really... I mean, there's only so many like horror movies that are actually like truly like dark horror anyway. Some of the best ones are fun, and I'm going to do something that's fun. I'm going to do something that probably a lot of people haven't seen. It's a goddamn gem, though, and It's just great. It's called Murder Party.
Murder Party?
Murder Party. It's about a dude that is just a kind of introvert, shut-in guy, doesn't really have any friends, walking around one day on Halloween when he has nothing to do. He finds an invite to a Halloween party floating around on the ground, picks it up, decides to go to it, makes himself a night costume out of cardboard and duct tape, bakes himself a fucking goddamn pound cake or some shit like that, and goes to this Halloween party, and then nonsense ensues after that.
So, what kind of a horror movie is this? Is it like
It's a horror comedy.
A horror comedy?
It's a horror
This is a
comedy.
horror comedy. Okay,
Yeah,
this is going to affect my pick because
Streaming on Amazon.
Oh yes,
and available to buy and rent everywhere.
So I had a few different options here, Reese took 2 of them, and I figured I had a list of horror comedies I was debating between if nobody picked a horror comedy, but John did that, so I'm left with a couple different options here. I either have a true creature flick, or
Like a creature.
a psychological horror film.
You want to vote on it?
Hereditary's kind of, I would assume.
Hereditary is very psychological. Yeah.
I like a
You want to vote on it? Say both, and we'll
like
vote.
the creature
I like the
kick?
creature.
All right, we'll go with the creature. I'm gonna do the ritual.
Okay.
Oh, fucking fantastic!
I almost watched that the other night, and I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure I can watch this." With you guys.
I'm excited to watch that again. That movie is fantastic.
On Netflix.
Episode 14 will be same format. We'll try to get through it faster. Hereditary, Murder Party, The Ritual.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about as best as we could have expected.
215. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
216.
Yeah, something like that.
217.
Yeah. All right, sounds good.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So I think the last thing, Reese normally does this, but I'm just going to throw it at the end so we can get out of here. Go to the theater, watch movies. The
Killers of the Flower Moon. Go see it.
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon. It's only 3 hours and 26 minutes. So you know,
if you want to expand your palette, go watch some Bollywood movies.
Yeah, there's some Bollywood movies
in
theaters.
It's usually kind of fun.
Yeah.
If you like dance, you'll probably like those movies.
Do it. Go to the theater.
All right. Well, that's going to close the door on this episode. So we'll see you back next week. Well, 2 weeks from
probably 2 weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks,
2 weeks for sure.
For some Halloween themed shit.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Bye.
Later.
See ya.